This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline dreams, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families, the drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Build not borrowed, that's the creed written deep in our veins. We turn busted cars into legends and rust into fame. From late night garage grind to race day stadium roars. Every scar on the knuckles unlocked 1,000 doors. We don't back down, we don't break, we don't fold. Every ride we build tells a story worth gold. This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline trains, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families, the drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Here's to the nights when the world said slow down, but the engine said no and we stood our ground. To the ones who grew up wrenching when the rest took the easy way, we found our path in the piston noise and we'll ride it every day. Pedal to the metal, this is where we belong. Cars, trucks, monster trucks, loud and strong. Passion, pride, lug nuts, side by side. If you love what you drive, then ride, ride, ride. This is for the legends that started in dusty garages, for the kids who chase dreams through the scars and collages, for the racers who gave everything without fail, and the fans who stand proud when the engines wail. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, this ain't a phase. It's our passion, our culture, and we'll live it to the grave. Pedal to the metal, forever in our veins. So look out, we're only getting louder from here. Nothing built strong was ever built out of fear. The road is wide open and the fire won't slow, because this isn't a hobby, this is the only life we know. Pedal down, heads high. We're not done. Pedal down, heads high. Pedal down. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. You're listening to Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music, the show where horsepower, stories, and great music come together. From beautiful collector classics to fire-breathing race cars to the ground-shaking thunder of monster trucks, this is where the world of motors meets the power of music. So strap in tight, fire it up, and grab your favorite cold drink, because a ride is about to begin. And now, here's your host, Roller.
What's up? How y'all doing, man? Wow. What a week it's been. What's happening? How you guys doing, man? What's going on? Thank you so much. You guys are too kind. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. It's good to see you guys tonight. Beer Garden Rowdies are in the house, man. What's up, fellas? How's the mezzanine doing tonight, man? You guys up there doing okay? Hey, bartender, mezzanine gets rounds of drinks on me tonight. And send Timmy a drink in the state prison, in the women's state prison. Timmy needs a drink there, okay? What's going on, guys? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Oh, guys. Jennifer Fagan in the house. Oh, what's up, Jenny? What is up? Let's just bring it down a little bit. Let's just bring it down. We got a lot to cover, man. We've got a lot to cover. It's been a week, man. God, it's been a week. I've been busy with the Night Owls all week and doing some stuff. And we had the big show yesterday, man. I'm just telling you guys, what a class act. I mean, what a class act the Night Owls are. They put on a great show. Everybody there is friendly. Everybody's willing to help. Uh, Hello there, Mr. Becker. Mr. Becker. Yes, it was great to meet you yesterday too, bro. But it was just an awesome, awesome show. I mean, I can't tell you how much they made me feel like I was at home. When I got there, they had this spot underneath the shade tree, and I put my tent up. Man, it was shady all day long. My truck was parked right across the sidewalk from me in the front row, man. I was in the front row with all the high dollar cars, man. You know, that you got all these $100,000 cars, and then there's Bob. You know, Bob's right there. And it's just amazing, man. Raul and Little Richie and just you guys, man. You have put together a class act, man. I mean, what a great show it was. The auction was good. I got to hang out with my brother, man, and we just had such a great time. You know, when Buzz and I get together, it's craziness anyway, and to be there with him was a lot of fun. But I got to meet a lot of the guys that were on the show, and the cool thing about the whole thing is I'd be walking through the crowd and people going, "Hey, Roller, what's up, man? Roller, how you doing?" And hey, we watch your show, man. Good job. And just I had people coming up, and before Buzz got there, we were playing a lot of my music, and people were coming up, and they were like, "Is this your music?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And they're like, "It is. It's fantastic." And how do we get it? And so I mean, I gave a bunch of what time will they be on? I don't want to miss this one. They will be on at 7 o'clock, Jen. So in an hour. I know that I knew you'd be on here for sure, but yeah, they'll be on at 7 o'clock. So in 1 hour they'll be on for sure. So anyway, but the show itself, there was probably I didn't get an official count, but I know there was at least 400 cars there. At least 400 cars. There were so many cars that I couldn't walk them all because my knees are just screaming about that time of day when they all filled up. And so I walked quite a few cars, man, but there were so many more that I missed. And what really went on, it happened that I thought was going to happen is everybody was a little timid to uh, be on the show. And Jeananne, she got on there, and Willow's birthday was yesterday, and so we talked to her. She got me this cool microphone, man, for having me on the show. And I said, you don't have to do that. And she goes, well, you didn't have to write a song about my dad's truck either. And I said, well, I do that for everybody. And she goes, well, This is just my way of saying thank you. You know, she's such a class person, and everybody knows her at the car shows and stuff. And she's just a great lady, man. It really is. I'd like to say hi to all the people, all the guys at Triple K Trucking. They got some of my music yesterday. Aaron Swazo, you got some. I wrote here, Ben Ben Medina, you got some music yesterday, and there's a couple of more on here, but it's chicken scratch, so I don't know. Thomas Howe, you got some music yesterday, and then Carson Thomas. Carson Thomas, you got music yesterday too. So hello Jerry, how are you, man? Jerry Costanza in the house, man. Good to see you on there, my brother. Good to see you on there supporting me yesterday, bro. Thanks for being on there, man. It was so fun to see you on there. But anyway, it was just a great car show, man. And if you have a car, or if you're just a car nut, or even if you're not, I recommend that you go to the Night Owls next year, man. Yes, the umbrella worked really good on my phone. I was like totally stoked that the little umbrella on my phone. I was walking around and people were like, "Look, he's got an umbrella on his phone," and I was like, "Well, this is why." But it worked out really good. I couldn't believe it. So it was well worth the money for sure, for sure. But yeah, it was just a good time had by all. But if you get a chance, make sure you go to one of the Night Owl events because they are great people. They have great followers, great supporters, great staff, everything, man. So, Big Brian was there, and he was. I was a little worried about Big Brian yesterday, man. He was under the weather a little bit, man, and you know, I these guys that I had on my show, Timmy, everybody, man. I worry about them, man. They're like family now, So I I worried about Big Brian a lot yesterday because he was not feeling very good yesterday, but he started picking back up. Rick Nixon, how are you? Yes, it was, and it was good to see Rick and Patricia there. And here's two people that I met through the Night Owls, Rick Nixon and his wife Patricia. And she's battling cancer, and then she was in the garage helping her son the other day, and he started to fall off the ladder. And make a long story short, man, she fell and broke her wrist. And this poor lady is such an amazing woman, and she just she's been through hell. I feel so sorry for her, And Rick is just a great guy, and they have the '62 bubble top, and it's in the songs, and it's Maryland, and just a beautiful car. I got to see it in person. I got to see Vader in person, and it's totally different seeing these cars up in front of you because they're such beautiful works of art. It really is. So hats off to Raul and all the gang. And you guys rock, man. You guys rock. And if those Night Owl Fiesta Fun Runs are like that every year, count me in, man. Just count me in because I want to be a part of it. And they hooked me up, man. I got a plaque from them, man, and it's a cool plaque, and I got to put it up here in the studio somewhere. But it's an appreciation to Jeff Roller Richards. For helping out for the Night Owls Hot Rod Fiesta Fun Run. So just a great time. Jerry Potts did an amazing job. And hello, Kevin Dickey, my brother. How are you? And the auction went well, Carter. It really did. It really went good. People, the economy, I'm sure in the years past, it was a lot stronger. But for the way that the economy is right now, I thought the auction did very well. That's some really cool pieces, and I just really look forward to going back next year, man. I really do. So, guys, we'll be right back here after a word from our sponsors.
You're listening to Pedal to the Metal. Motors and music. Where the engines are loud and the music hits just as hard. Classic cars, hot rods, monster trucks, and the stories behind the builds. mixed with the music that fuels the ride. From the show field to the arena floor, we bring you the horsepower and the center to match. Stick around, we got more coming your way. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Hey Pueblo, Colorado, shine 'em up and roll 'em out. The streets are coming alive for the fiesta at Mercado. Motors, truck, bike, and car show. Saturday, September 12th, 2026, from noon till 5 at Mercado Motors, 2834 Lake Avenue in Pueblo. Bring the whole family out for an afternoon packed with lowriders, hot rods, classic cars, trucks, motorcycles, SUVs, and those beautiful lowrider bikes. Enjoy live entertainment, food vendors, family activities, mechanical bull, kids area, raffles, trophies, and non-stop fun. Chrome will shine, engines will rumble, and Pueblo will celebrate car culture the way it was meant to be. The Fiesta at Mercado Motors Truck, Bike, and Car Show. Saturday, September 12th, noon to 5. Don't just hear about it. Be there! Attention hot rodders, custom builders, truck fans, and motorcycle riders! Get ready for the White Buffalo Car Show coming to downtown Snyder, Texas on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Cruise into the heart of Snyder and enjoy a full day packed with classic cars, custom trucks, motorcycles, live music, great food, vendors, shopping around the square, and fun for the whole family. With 25 classes, awards, and even a furthest traveled award, there's something for every kind of ride. Registration is just $20, and all proceeds stay local to support area charities and community programs. And don't miss your chance to meet Texas rich with C10 America during this huge downtown celebration. Plus, cruise into the Friday night meet and greet on October 2nd before the band starts rocking. So polish up that chrome, shine those wheels, and head to the White Buffalo Car Show in downtown Snyder, Texas! The White Buffalo Car Show, where horsepower, hometown pride, and Texas tradition come together.
Looking for artwork that stands out from the crowd? Whether you're building a brand, promoting your business, or creating something truly one of a kind, Digitized Ink Co. brings your ideas to life with professional digital artwork and custom design services. From logos and graphics to custom illustrations and creative designs that leave a lasting impression. Digitized Ink Co. combines today's technology with traditional artistic values to give every project the attention it deserves. Need a fresh new look for your business, club, team, or special event? Let Digitized Ink Co. create something you'll be proud to show off. Call today at 435-650-7657. Visit digitizedinco.com or email digitizedinco@gmail.com. Digitized Inco, cutting edge design, tready. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Kevin Dickey says working on an old bed flooring, getting it back in shape, and getting it ready to paint. Well, I know it's going to come out marvelous when you get done with it, my brother Kevin. I appreciate you guys for being in here, man. This show is dedicated to my hot rod dad, Bobby Clark, and his family. So that's about all I'm going to say right now on that matter right there, guys. I've been kind of holding out on you. I got to admit it. I've been holding out really with some songs. I've got some songs that I have marked. To me, I call them my 5-star gold songs. And Texas Rich called me the other day, and he said, "Hey, me and Miss Terry were walking through the store, and we come up. He hasn't passed yet, Kevin, but he's in hospice, man, and not doing very well. So I appreciate that, man. I kind of didn't give you the full story because I could lose it real easy, to be honest with you. But he was my hot rod dad. Okay, so that's just what I can say to you about that. I met him when I was about 5 years old, to be honest with you. So that's how long I've known him. Anyway, these 5-star gold songs have been, they've been sitting in a folder for a while. And out of sight, out of mind, But Rich and Terry were walking through the grocery store the other day, and they come up with a song that they wanted me to write, and so I sat down and it come together so fast, and it come together so good that I thought, this has got to go in the folder for 5-star gold. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with that song first of all, and then I'm going to let you guys hear the rest of these 5-star gold songs. I think they're 5-star gold. I'm going to let you guys hear them, think what you think. If you like them, push those thumbs up, push those heart buttons, and let me know how you feel about them. This one here is the one that Rich and Miss Terry, sent me the other day, and this is called Beer, Women, and Whiskey. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
I was 18 years old with a wild streak inside, a pickup truck, a paycheck, and too much pride. Thought I had life figured out underneath those neon lights, chasing every pretty smile on a Friday night. Mama said, son, there's a price you'll pay for living too fast and running that way. But I just laughed and said I'll be just fine with a bottle and a dance floor, taking all my time. Beer, women, and whiskey, that's all I thought I'd ever need. A jukebox playing old country songs and a bar stool waiting there for me. Beer, women, and whiskey kept this old heart running wild. I had a good glass, wondering where the good years passed. Had some good friends, had some broken dreams, and some memories somewhere in between. I loved a few that I should have held tight, let a good woman walk out of my life. Now every time that old jukebox plays, I think about my younger days. Beer, women, and whiskey, that's all I thought I'd ever need. A jukebox playing old country songs and a bar stool waiting there for me. Beer, women, and whiskey kept this old heart running wild. I had a good time losing my way, but I lost myself for a while. Now I still like a cold one from time to time, and an old country song that makes me smile. But I learned there's more to a man's life than chasing trouble every mile. Beer, women, and whiskey were chapters written in my past. Some things burn bright like a neon sign, but they ain't always meant to last. Beer, women, and whiskey, yeah, I've got stories I can tell. I had one hell of a ride back then, and I lived to know myself. So here's to the nights and the lessons learned, the bridges crossed and the bridges burned, an old guitar and a memory of beer, women, and whiskey.
Beer, women, and whiskey right here on Pedal the Metal, Motors and Music. Now, these songs here have never been heard. Rich was the first one to hear them yesterday. So, no, these have never been played on air. These songs are, like I said, these were just made and put into an envelope and into a folder, and they just been left there. So this next one here is called Somewhere Between Hank and Somewhere Between Hank and Somewhere Between Hank.
I was raised on 3 chords and the truth, an old guitar and a worn out pair of boots. Daddy played Hank on that old radio, taught me about life everywhere we go. He said, son, you'll stumble, you'll fall sometimes, you'll lose a few battles, cross a few lines, but every wrong road and every mistake could still lead you home if your heart don't break. I'm somewhere between Hank and heaven, between the sinner and the saved, between whiskey nights and Sunday mornings, and all the choices that I've made. Somewhere between Hank and heaven, between the darkness and the light, I'm just an old song still playing, trying to get the ending right. I've closed down bars underneath neon signs, loved some women I should have kept in my life. I've spent some nights talking to the moon, wondering why goodbye always comes too soon. But that pedal still keeps crying my name, reminding me we all carry some pain. Every scar is just a story we tell about the times we climb back out of hell. I'm somewhere between Hank and heaven, between the sinner and the saved, between whiskey nights and Sunday mornings, and all the choices that I've made. Somewhere between Hank and heaven, between the darkness and the light, I'm just an old song still playing, trying to get the ending right. I ain't no angel with a perfect past, and I know this ride won't forever last. But when they lay me down someday, I hope the good Lord smiles and says, you learned from every mile you drove. You gave more love than you owed. Somewhere between Hank and heaven, I finally found some peace of mind. I quit counting all my failures and started counting precious time. Somewhere between Hank and heaven, when my last song fades away, I hope Hank plays me through the gates, and heaven lets me stay. Just an old guitar and a memory of the man I tried to be. Somewhere between Hank and heaven. There's an old place on Main Street where the neon still shines. Same cracked leather seats and those old worn signs. A jukebox in the corner playing Haggard and Jones. For a man like me who hates drinking alone, that bartender knows every story I've told, every heartbreak, every dream I let go. He don't judge the miles written on my face. He just says, old friend, welcome back to your place. I'm just a bar stool away from home, where the lonely don't have to feel alone, where the whiskey's strong and the music's real, and nobody hides the scars they feel. Just a bar stool away from home, where every old memory has a place of its own. I spent half my life out there on the run, but somehow this bar still calls me son. There's a picture on the wall from 1989, me and some old friends having one hell of a time. Some are still around, some have moved on, some are up in heaven singing old country songs. That old waitress still remembers my name, says, boy, after all these years you ain't changed. I just smile and say, maybe that's true, but these gray hairs tell a different truth. I'm just a bar stool away from home, where the lonely don't have to feel alone, where the whiskey's strong and the music's real, and nobody hides the scars they feel. Just a bar stool away from home, where every old memory has a place of its own. I spent half my life out there on the run, but somehow this bar still calls me son. It ain't about the bottle sitting in my hand, it's about the people who understand. We're all just searching for somewhere to belong, some fine family inside an old country song. I'm just a bar stool away from home, where the years went fast but the love still grows, where the pedal still cries and the old jukebox plays the soundtrack of my younger days. Just a bar stool away from home, someday when the good Lord calls me home, I hope there's a little place beyond those clouds, with Hank on the jukebox playing loud. So save my seat and leave the light on, I'm never really too far gone. Sometimes the closest you'll ever be is one bar stool away from home. There's a bottle on the table, a Bible by my bed. One reminds me where I've been, one shows the road ahead. One held all my secrets, one held all truth. One was there when I got older. One was there back in my youth. I spent nights under neon, chasing yesterday, trying to drown memories that wouldn't fade away. But every time I hit the bottom, down there on my knees, that old worn out Bible kept calling back to me. The bottle and the Bible both have heard my name. One saw all my wild nights, one helped me through the pain. The Bible and the Bible, between wrong turns and grace. One showed me who I used to be, one helped me find my way. And Daddy left that Bible with his name written inside. He said, son, you're gonna need this on the rough roads of life. But I was young and stubborn, had to learn things on my own. Took 1,000 wrong turns just to find my way back home. Now that whiskey doesn't talk the way it did before, and those neon lights don't shine like they used to anymore. I still carry all those memories, every scar and every mile. But I finally found some peace I hadn't felt in a while. The bottle and the Bible both have heard my name. One saw all my wild nights, one helped me through the pain. The Bible and the Bible, between wrong turns and grace. One showed me who I used to be, one helped me find my way. I ain't saying I'm an angel, I still got some roads to ride, but there's a little more forgiveness on this old sinner's side. I learned life ain't about perfection, it's about getting back up again. Sometimes you find salvation where your broken road begins. The Bible and the Bible still sit there side by side. One tells the story of my past, one tells me I'll be alright. The Bible and the Bible both played their part somehow. One showed me where I've been, one shows where I'm going now. So when they tell my story, don't judge the roads I chose. The Bible knew my darkest nights, but the Bible brought me home.
Bottle and the Bible right here on Pedal of the Metal Motors and Music. This next song up is called Whiskey Don't Remember. We'll be right back here on Pedal of the Metal.
There's a glass sitting there where her picture used to be. Both of them still have a hold on me. One burns going down, one burns in my mind. One disappears, one stays all the time. The jukebox keeps playing those songs from the past about a love that was real but wasn't built to last. I've tried moving on, Lord knows I've tried, but some memories don't say goodbye. Whiskey don't remember, but this old heart sure does. It forgot all those promises and the way she looked at us. Whiskey don't remember those nights we danced real slow. It can't tell me why she left me, it just helps me let her go. For a little while I'm stronger, till the morning light breaks through. Whiskey don't remember, but I still remember you. The bartender knows when I walk through that door. He don't ask me questions anymore. He just pours a little comfort in an old empty glass, while I sit here talking to my past. There's a ring-shaped shadow where forever used to shine, and 1,000 what-ifs running through my mind. But you can't bring back yesterday with 80 proof. Sometimes the hardest thing to face is the truth. Whiskey don't remember, but this old heart sure does. It forgot all those promises and the way she looked at us. Whiskey don't remember those nights we danced real slow. It can't tell me why she left me, it just helps me let her go. For a little while I'm stronger, till the morning light breaks through. Whiskey don't remember, but I still remember you. Maybe someday I'll set this bottle down, stop searching for her in this lonely town. Maybe someday I'll finally find a little peace inside this heart of mine. Whiskey don't remember, all the tears I've cried, all the nights I ask myself what I could have done right. Whiskey don't remember the love we had back then. It forgets by closing time, but I wake up missing her again. The bottle might run empty, but some memories never do. Whiskey don't remember, but I still remember you. So here's to the ones we couldn't keep, and the memories buried way down deep. Whiskey forgets when the night is through, but I still remember you. There's an old sign hanging above that door, been shining red since 1974. It's watched young lovers and old hearts break, seen every promise that people make. It's seen cowboys crying into their beer, and lonely souls disappear through the years. That old glow has heard every last goodbye. You can fool yourself, but the neon never lies. The neon never lies. It sees what we try to hide. Every broken heart, every tear we never cried. It knows who's leaving, it knows who's holding on, who's just passing through, and who's already gone. You can paint on a smile, cover up your eyes, but that old barroom neon never lies. It saw Billy walking with a brand new bride. 20 years later, watched him drinking inside. It saw Jenny leave town, chasing bigger dreams, and old friends reunite over memories. Every name carved into that wooden bar, every wish made on a falling star, every story underneath those lights is another chapter in somebody's life. The neon never lies. It sees what we try to hide. Every broken heart, every tear we never cried. It knows who's leaving, it knows who's holding on, who's just passing through, and who's already gone. You can paint on a smile, cover up your eyes, but that old barroom neon never lies. That old sign keeps glowing through the rain, through every celebration and every pain. It doesn't judge the roads we choose, it just shines down on the truth.
last chances, and final goodbyes. Someday, when I'm just a memory and another old song from the past, that neon will still be shining long after my last glass. So raise one up for the stories inside, because that old barroom neon never lies.
You know, that neon never lies, man. Kevin Dickey, it's always a pleasure to see you in here, man. Thank you for the words. All your words are always so inspirational, man. You are the man, the myth, and the legend. I promise you that. And yes, it will be a great day when us three can get together and sit at the same table and break some bread. For sure. This last song right here of the 5-Star Gold songs is a song that I wrote. My dad was an automobile wholesaler. We had a car lot, but he always claimed to be an automobile wholesaler. And, we traveled from auction to auction, buying cars to fill up the lot, buying cars to take to auctions, buying cars to sell to other dealerships. So, he spent his whole life doing that, and he was really, really good at what he did. He was trying to show me the ropes, and in a way he did. I mean, I've done exactly what he's done, but my auctioneering career and monster truck career took me other routes, and it was really cool to see him making a living. Basically, what it was is legalized gambling. I mean, betting on buying this car in Amarillo, Texas, and betting that he can take it and either put it on the car lot or sell it to a dealer up in Denver, and then buying cars in Denver, knowing that he can take them down and sell them in Texas. And so it was just a great life, and he enjoyed it. And this song here is called "The Life of a Wholesale Man." We'll be right back here. This is the last of the 5-Star Golds on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Before the sun came up, he was already gone. Coffee in his cup and the radio on. A stack full of papers laying there by his side. Another 1,000 miles underneath those headlights. From Denver down to Amarillo nights, chasing another deal under those Texas skies. Lubbock and Abilene, every town in between, looking for chrome, horsepower, and a dream. He knew every back road and every little town, every dealer friend when he came around, searching for that one car nobody else could see, that could turn into tomorrow's opportunity. That's the life of a wholesale man, betting on tomorrow with a handshake in his hand, buying them low, hoping they'll climb, rolling those dice, one car at a time. Every highway had a story to tell, every auction bell was heaven or hell. It's passion and pride, only some understand, living the life of a wholesale man.
didn't just trade in those auction lanes. His deals were made through sunshine and rain. Car lots and diners, wherever they'd meet. Two car men talking, making deals on the street. Late nights in bars where guitars played low, talking about trades only car dealers know. Keys on the table and stories from afar, making memories while they were making deals on cars. The sound of old country filling the room, another handshake, another deal coming soon. Those honky-tonk lights and those old guitar strings were the background music to the wholesale king. That's the life of a wholesale man, betting on tomorrow with a handshake in his hand, buying them low, hoping they'll climb, rolling those dice one car at a time. Every highway had a story to tell, every auction bell was heaven or hell. His passion and pride only some understand, living the life of a wholesale man. Some men gamble underneath casino lights, some men chase cars through the night. But his kind of gamble had four wheels and steel, trust in his heart and trust in the deal. He traded cars like masters playing cards, knowing when to hold and when to go hard. Watches and rings, sometimes part of the game, but a handshake and his word always carried his name. Not every car was a winner, some lost and some made money, but that was the action, the fight, and the game in the wholesale car dealer's fame. The miles were long and the sleep was short, another auction lane, another report. Some days he'd win, some days he'd lose, but giving up was something he'd never choose, because it wasn't just money, it wasn't just steel, it was chasing the magic of making the deal. The friendships, the stories, the roads that he ran were all part of being a wholesale man. That was the life of a wholesale man. Dust on his boots and keys in his hand. The miles were long, but the memories stayed, in every friendship and every trade he made. Those highways remember where he's been, the deals he lost and the ones he'd win. A life full of stories written in sand, the life and times of a wholesale man. So here's to the ones still chasing that road, telling old stories and hauling those loads, where the highway ends and the memories stand, lives the heart of a wholesale man.
The life of a wholesale man. That's right, man. What a good life it was. You know, he enjoyed that life so much, guaranteed. Guys, that was the end of the 5-star gold trivia songs. Not trivia songs, but the 5-star gold songs. If you want to hear him again, tomorrow, Texas Rich will be playing him on New Music Monday for the first time on his show. So make sure you tune in over there. It's every Monday starting at 8 o'clock Central Time. New Music Monday, hosted by Texas Rich. Anyway, we're 10 minutes away from calling in and talking to two people that I have known. Well, I've known Mason since he was just a little guy. And Dave, I've known him for even longer. And Mason is the young man that was in the ride truck in La Crosse, Wisconsin, that found the adult toy and was swinging it out the window going, woo, woo. He had no idea what it was, none at all. All he knew is that he was having fun riding in that ride truck, and we were trying to stop him and grab it. And oh my God, it was just hilarious, you know. And I don't know if he'll be embarrassed to bring that up, so I thought that's why I'd just go ahead and bring it up. But, you know, Dave's boys and girls all wrestled, including Dave. Fantastic wrestling family. And when my boys retired from wrestling, when they got out of school, Dave bought my wrestling mats. And he took them and they wrestled on them for years and years. I don't know if they still have them or what happened to them, but you know, they've been in the game of the monster truck world for a long time, and absolutely are Jennifer Fagan and mine's favorite people. They're just great people. They will help you out anytime you need it. And of course, all the drivers do that. Don't get me wrong, you know. But the Riffe family is very fond and very close to our hearts. I'll promise you that. So let's go ahead and do one more song right here. Let's do something. Let's see here. Let's do Baggies and Longboards right here off of the Surfin' C10's album. This is called Baggies and Longboards.
Trying to hang 10 with my toes on the nose, wiping out laughing wherever I go. Have my baggies on and my feet in the sand, learning every move from the older surf gang. Radio playing those harmony sounds, beach party music shaking the whole town. I got my baggies and my longboard, riding waves from shore to shore. Got my buddies beside me, always coming back for more. Underneath the moon, beach party rocking to our favorite tunes. Life was perfect way back when, with my baggies, my longboard and my C10. That old Chevy waited by the ocean blue, surfboards hanging out the back like surfers do. Small block rumbling down the coastal road, windows rolled down everywhere we go. Girls on the beach and bonfires bright, dancing barefoot through those summer nights. Same old songs playing over again, just me, my board, my girl, and my friends. I got my baggies and my longboard, riding waves from shore to shore. Got my buddies beside me, always coming back for more. Late night dancing underneath the moon, beach party rocking to our favorite tunes. Life was perfect way back when, with my baggies, my longboard and my C10. Hang 10
on board of my C10.
You're listening to Pedal to the Metal. Motors and music. Where the engines are loud and the music hits just as hard. Classic cars, hot rods, monster trucks, and the stories behind the builds. Mixed with the music that fuels the ride. From the show field to the arena floor, we bring you the horsepower and the center to match. Stick around, we got more coming your way. But first, a word from our sponsors. Castle Rock, get ready to fire up the horsepower! The 2026 Poor Boy Cruisers Car Show is rolling into ACC in Castle Rock on Saturday, October 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring out your ride and be part of an incredible day supporting the American Cancer Society, with 100% of the donations going to the cause. Entry fee donation is just $20 cash only, and registration is same day only. The show takes place at ACC Castle Rock, 4500 Limelight Avenue, Castle Rock, Colorado, 80109. Enjoy giveaways, a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, specialty trophies, and an awesome lineup of classic cars, customs, trucks, and hot rods. All makes and models are welcome. Don't miss the 2026 Poor Boy Cruisers Car Show in Castle Rock. Saturday, October 3rd, where chrome shines bright and horsepower helps make a difference.
Looking to bring your ride back to life, or just clean it up and make that beater look better than ever? At Sunrise Rod and Custom, we turn worn out into wow. From rust repair to full restoration to complete customization, we got you covered. Need collision repair? Body work, no problem. Need something to stand out at the next show?
We specialize in pinstriping, custom lettering,
And one-of-a-kind paint that makes your ride truly yours. Whether it's a classic cruiser or a shop truck,
we take pride in every detail because your ride deserves it. Located in colorful Colorado,
Sunrise Rod and Custom is your go-to shop for craftsmanship that turns heads. Call Jeff Lytle today at 983-217-3239. That's 983-217-3239.
Sunrise Rod and Custom, we don't
Just fix cars, we bring them back to life, and a whole lot more. And now, we return to Pedal to the Metal. Motors
Your call
and
has
music.
been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 517
With your host, Roller.
41658 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Here we go. Is this my brother, Dave Riffe?
Roller.
What's up, baby?
What's going on, man?
You know, dude, we're sitting here playing some music, jamming out, waiting to talk to DRB and Mason Riffe.
I don't know where Mason is. I'll be honest with you, man.
Did he run amok on us?
I guess so. I've been trying to get a hold of him. It's his birthday, so God knows where he's at.
Just tell him we're very upset. We're gonna have to ground him. Is what we're gonna have.
Well,
to do.
we had a show last night, and we didn't get home till like 3 in the morning. So I knew he'd be sleeping, but I I don't know. I haven't got a hold of him all day.
Oh, well, hey, things happen. I've been waiting for him to call me back and tell me what song he likes, but he ain't never done that either.
He
So,
he he bought a house last week.
oh, he did.
So yeah, so he's like he didn't come to work on Monday. We had a show on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Monday he didn't show up. And I was like, dude, we got to leave tonight. And he goes, Dad, I had to mow my grass, man. And he says, you know what, Dad? He goes, I have never felt more like a man than when I was mowing my grass.
Is he close to you? Somewhere close?
It's about 40 minutes away.
Uh-huh. Nice little
So
house, nice beginner house.
yeah, yeah. I haven't even ever seen it. He bought it. Him and his girl bought it on their own, and um, I've never even been there.
Well, maybe someday we'll get an invite to go over and eat Lucky Charms.
Yeah, and we're not on the podcast right now, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, then
We
I'll save that story for later.
You mean the one that was in lacrosse?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I've already told that one, so that one's old news. Everybody's heard that one for sure. But
Well, he bought that house, and uh, he's like never met any of the neighbors, and he said, I hope the neighbors are cool because when you get out of the car, you got to step on their property. And right after he got the keys for the house, he found out that it was two gay guys, and one of them's transitioning to a woman. So, and then on the other side of him he said it's some 40-year-old super conservative lady. So he goes, I'm the middle guy, man.
oh man, he's gonna. Well, he just needs to bring the monster truck over one day and fire it up. That's all he's got to do. It'll make
Yeah,
everybody happy then.
he said the lady goes, what do you do for a living? He goes, I drive monster trucks. And she's like, what? Freaking out, thinking that was pretty cool.
Well, that's good. I mean, so there's kind of a positive there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and maybe Jim and Diane or whoever their name is gonna accept him. Hey, there's somebody on here that's can't is so excited to be on this to listen to the show. You know who's on?
Tell me it's Jennifer.
It's Jenny. Jenny's on here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's on here. She said, "I'm so excited to be on this to listen to this show, man." But it's been such a long time, bro. I mean, God, how long have we? I mean, how long have we known each other?
30 years
At least. I
at
mean,
least.
at least. You know, I can remember the first show I did with you. It was in Denver, and it was one of Stanley's shows at the arena there in Denver. Remember that big arena?
Yep. Yep. The
Eh,
Pepsi Arena, I think, wasn't
No, it
it?
wasn't the
Pepsi.
Pepsi. It's the National Western Arena. The
Yep.
Pepsi's downtown. That's where they do all the big Monster Jam stuff. Well, now they go over to the Bronco Stadium. But anyway, Doc was there, and you had just fired up, man. And that's back when we were still crazy. Charlie and I would still be out on the floor when the trucks were running,
Oh
doing
yeah.
stuff that you're not supposed to do anymore and stuff like that. And I went up to Stanley and I said, Doc, this Dave Riffe guy scares the shit out of me. I said, is he a good driver? And he goes, well, hell yeah, he's a good driver. I wouldn't have him at one of my shows. I said, well, I'm just telling you right now, he scares the shit out of me because he is a psycho behind the wheel. And what was the name? Psycho Circus Truck, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of them. I mean, I'm trying to remember what I had when I first
Or was
started
it
with
Black?
Stanley.
It was a Black
I'd
Widow.
say I think it was Black Widow um, first, because the Psycho Circus came after that. We had gone back into the same venues year after year, and
Right.
so we decided to make a. And it's actually, you remember Chris Guzman?
Oh yeah,
Um,
very well. The
him,
Goose.
he worked for me, and we'd be driving late at night, and we'd be throwing ideas back and forth about a truck we wanted to build, and we came up with the Psycho Circus, and we had all these ideas for making it have tricks and have a show inside the show,
Right.
and I ended up making that truck, and I'd wear a clown mask out and stuff like that, and I had the windows, I had prism tape on the windows, so you couldn't hardly, to be honest with you, you couldn't really see out, but you couldn't see in.
Uh-huh.
And um, we went with it, but we never got it to the point that, I don't know if you've seen Mason's new Psycho
Oh,
Circus.
dude, it's totally awesome, man.
He has taken this whole thing to just a whole new level for monster truck. There's nobody out there doing what he's doing. Um, and we actually just did a GoPro video Wednesday night,
Uh-huh.
from inside the cab. All those all those things. It shoots confetti. It smokes. It's got a big red balloon that inflates while he's running. Silly string shooters, squirt guns, all
Wow.
that stuff works off of a remote control that he operates.
Uh-huh.
So the big trick is when he's really good at doing slap wheelies. So when he gets a really good slap wheelie in the middle of the arena, he has to pick one of the 6 buttons and push, and it shoots confetti out. And the crowd goes crazy because they're not expecting that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But we took a video of him inside the cab because I tried to drive that truck once. It is the hardest thing I've ever had to do because there's so many buttons and so many switches and so many levers, and all at the same time. You're driving, you're wheeling, and he has a push to talk button, so I can talk to him while he's driving, and he'll be talking to me while he's wheeling and shooting confetti. I don't know. I said we got to take a video. I don't know how you're doing all this stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Oh man, uh, you know, I can remember when he was just a little guy riding around the pit in his bicycle and stuff, and just I mean, and now look what I mean. He's just gotten so big, man. I mean, God, it makes
Yeah,
me feel old, man. Is what it does.
he actually did an interview. We were in South Bend, Indiana on Wednesday night, and he's he hates he hates being on the mic, or he did. He has become one of the best interviewers, which you and I both know is a huge part of that.
Guaranteed.
And he gets the crowd so fired up. But he was they asked him about, you're a second generation driver, and he was talking about that, about, he goes, I was just lucky enough that I got to ride around in the semi and hang out at monster truck shows. And he'll tell stories about, me. I used to bring him with me when it was just me and him,
Yes.
and I'd buy him uh, a pop and some popcorn and be like, "Don't move, just sit right here," and he'd get up and go wander around.
Oh yes, of
And
course.
he's telling me stories about, seeing some other kid, and he'd go sit by him and be like, "Yeah, that's my dad out there in the monster truck," and the people just thought he was some kid wandering around the arena. And then
Little
when the
kid,
show would get
homeless boy.
yeah, when the show would get over, he'd come up and hang out at the autograph table or whatever, and they were like, "Holy crap, that really is his dad."
Yeah.
But I remember doing a show in Iowa, and it was one of the first shows I took him to, just me and him, and I took him up in the stands and I said, "Sit right here, do not move." And I got him some food and everything, and I went down and I climbed up in the truck, and so the first thing I do is look to where I sat him down at, and guess what? He's gone.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm pretty sure you were announcing that show, and they had the ushers at the top of the aisle, and I'm looking for him. I'm looking, and the usher saw me looking, and she's pointing, and they all had earpieces. So the ushers literally babysitted my kid for the whole show. And they just kept an eye on him, and they're like, "Keep an eye on that kid, keep an eye on that kid."
He's
And
he might run. You never know.
it's funny because Jeff Bursey with Tosaurus Rex was just here. He just pulled out of the driveway 20 minutes ago,
Uh-huh.
and I was telling him the story about Mason in the ride truck in Texas, and you know what I'm talking
I
about.
do.
And that kid was just a handful. He was just
Always was.
always, yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
and he didn't realize what he was being part of.
No, he
And
didn't.
it's just, that's, I remember Travis when he went to kindergarten, and, I was lost because I took him everywhere with me too. And
Uh-huh.
he came home from the first day of kindergarten, and I said, "How was it, man?" And he goes, "It sucks." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "None of those kids' dads even named their trucks." And it was because every kid he knew up to that point in his life, their dad had a monster truck.
Uh-huh.
And so he just didn't understand that. He thought everybody had them.
It was just part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man. Growing up as a kid, in the monster truck business was a life lesson more than anything, man, because you were raised by everybody, because like you said, when you were out there on the when you were out there running around, doing your job and stuff, uh, there was people that had to watch him, man, and he just, they all the kids always got a good life lesson about life in the monster truck world. I haven't talked to anybody that hasn't said, no, my kid doesn't like it or anything like that. They just, and they all say the same thing. They just, why don't you guys have a monster truck? My dad has one. Or why don't you drive a monster truck? My dad does, or my mom does, or something like that. But they're there for a long time, dude. I mean, it was a family ordeal. I mean, you guys had trucks. I mean, it was just a big deal, man. And that's a lot to handle when you got that many trucks and running on the road, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At one point, I personally was up to 8 trucks
That's correct.
going at the same time. And, I still have four.
Uh huh.
And I mean, I'm 62 years old. All we do is work on trucks, work on semis, work on trailers. But I feel like the luckiest guy in the world that I get up every day and get to be around something that I love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is a lot of work. It's hard. Um, my other kids have went on to do other things, and that's fine. And it's it's really cool that Mason has. Uh, I don't know if he's in love with it still, though. You know what I'm
Really.
saying? Like, he doesn't really like to work on them that much, and I don't know if it's because I'm older now. I don't mind working on them at all. I don't want to. I don't want to have to. We're building a new ride truck right now,
Uh huh.
and it's a Psycho Circus ride truck, and it's got we just had a custom made circus tent made for over the top of the people, and it's gonna have all the tricks and bells and whistles like his monster truck does.
Wow.
And he's really he's really good at the attention to detail.
Uh huh.
He has so many things on that truck that we have to remove before he can run because they won't stay on there, but it's all for like the presentation at the pit party.
Sure.
And we'll let the cat out of the bag that, my alter ego name back then was Johnny Webb, and I
Yeah.
walked around with a basically like a black Spider-Man costume, and
Yeah.
it was a merchandise selling machine. Um, he doesn't come out of character the whole time. He's Sonny Sins is
Sunny
his name.
Sins.
Yep, and he wears a clown mask, and we had him a custom built fire suit that looks like a clown costume. I mean, he plays it up totally. And it was funny. A couple months ago, I guess it was last summer, we were at a show, and Elliot Miller with Monster Truck Throwdown. He's a really big historian on monster trucks, and he said, "Come in the trailer really quick." And I went in, and he had a video from Tyler, Texas, where me and Big Jesse,
Yeah.
God bless him, we were in the finals together, and you know what that meant.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to lose.
Nope.
And I nicked the motorcycle jump and rolled over, and Jesse, of course, jumps out and says, "Who won?" Meanwhile, my stuff's upside down. Um, but the funny part was Mason watched the video, and when they flipped the truck back over, he noticed that I was standing there still in full character. and that was what caught him the most. He goes, "You never broke character the whole time."
Right.
And I go, "You couldn't, you
No.
couldn't."
No, not at
And
all.
I can remember doing shows where, where it was like monster trucks and motocross, so you couldn't run the first part of the show, and because you'd mess up the motorcycle track,
Right.
and so we just could hang out, and I used to go up in the crowd and see some kid sitting there with his family, and there'd be an empty seat, and I just go sit down next to him, like I'm watching the show,
Uh-huh.
and pretty soon they'd realize that Johnny Webb is sitting next to him, and within minutes, I would have a line of people buying my merchandise and coming to get their autograph, during the show. And the other monster truck guys were always like, "Why do you do that? Why do you do that?"
Well, look.
I never told them why. I like, I don't know. I'm bored, And back then we used to get paid, $1,700 a weekend,
Right.
and I can make $5,000-6,000 on my merchandise.
Right, exactly. It was a no-brainer.
So that's the way we're going now. That's what we're trying to do now is, we're there to put on a good show, but we're trying to add to the show.
Uh-huh.
Like we're a show in the show.
Right.
And it's really paying off because, like I tell Mason all the time, I said, there's, 300 monster trucks out there right now, and they're all trying to be the baddest monster truck on the planet. And I
Guaranteed.
go, there's one guy trying to be a clown, and that's us.
Right.
And let's do it. And, he still has trouble. He wants to be the fastest guy, but, my dad taught me a long time ago that this is a business, and if you want to be successful in it, you got to treat it like a business. And this is my 38th year
Yeah.
doing that, and I mean, I remember being the youngest kid at the show, and now I'm by far one of the oldest guys at the
How the
show.
times turn, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. I mean,
You
yeah,
know,
and
you,
go ahead.
you know that I mean, I always just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, other than when I raced Big Jesse, I didn't really take it too serious. Um, and, I used to have this announcer guy that would tell me I lost by this much every time.
Why, Dave? Why would he do that to you?
I don't know,
Do
but
you
he
think that maybe
did.
the other drivers paid him to do that? Do you think?
That
I mean,
that's
did you ever
possible.
turn him into the announcers union and get him fired or anything?
Nope, I just laughed with him, man. I didn't care.
Dave, most of the time it wasn't true. Most of the time I just wasn't paying attention. I'm glad it wasn't for major points or anything like that, and I knew that if I had to lie to somebody, I had to lie to my brother Dave because he'd understand, man. But there was a few times that Dave, you lost by that much,
Just
by
that much.
that much, and y'all, did you ever wonder how can he know it was by that much? You know,
No, no, I took your word for it and just laughed and went on.
oh, I mean, we had you at displays at the auction where the dealer, remember the dealer that come up and was criticizing the Black Widow truck? I thought you were going to kill him right there on the spot. I really did. I thought you'd just wad him up and put him in a ball and kill him, and we'd be one dealer short, and then maybe a monster truck driver because you'd be in jail.
Well, in my earlier years, I'm surprised that I didn't,
Oh
but
no,
a
it's
little older, a little more mellow now.
well, that's okay, man. But you didn't start off in the monster truck business. You started off in the construction business, didn't you?
Yep, I actually, my dad had a pretty big construction company. We had like 125 employees, and I ran a crew for him starting when I was 19 years old.
Uh huh.
And I just, I just didn't love it. And I remember telling my dad, I built a truck, and I didn't even know you could make money with a monster truck. I didn't even know it was a thing. I just wanted one.
Uh huh.
And once I started doing some shows, I built my second truck, and I remember going to my dad and I told him, January, I'm quitting. I'm going on the road to race monster trucks. And he said, you'll be back in 3 weeks begging for your job back. And I said, I'm not coming back. And I never went back. Uh, but it was tough. It was tough, because that was a good, steady paying job, and monster trucks isn't.
Right.
Uh, but I was bound and determined. And the funny part was my dad didn't really like monster trucks. He thought they were stupid, and he thought they were wasting money. Um, but I had built when I built the Black Widow truck, I put everything I had into that truck. I mean, I had little kids at the time, and I spent all my money. I was pretty much broke when I took off, but to go on the road, but I was going to be the star of the show, right?
Uh-huh.
I fell into the trap just like everybody else. And after 3 weeks, the third week I rolled it. The next week I ripped the front end out of it, and then the week after that I blew the motor up, getting it off the trailer
Oh,
in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And I remember I was sitting on the trailer and I didn't know what to do, so I walked to the payphone because we didn't even have cell phones back then. I walked to the payphone. I called my dad and I said, Dad, I don't know what to do. This thing is a piece of junk. I got little kids at home. What did I do here? And he said, You'll, if monster trucks were easy, everybody would have one. You'll figure it out. And he
uh-huh.
hung up. And he hung up. And I was like, That's it. That's it. That's all. And I was pretty shook up. I didn't know what to do. And I looked over and they were bringing the cars in for to crush. And there just happened to be a Lincoln Town car, which had a 460 Ford motor in, which is what I was running at the time. And I asked the tow truck guy, what was wrong with that car? And he said the transmission was gone. And I said, so the motor runs? And he goes, I don't know. Let's find out. We dumped some gas in it, put jumper cables on it, fired it up. And I said, what do you want for it? And I bought it for $100. He helped me pull it out with the wrecker. We pulled all the stock stuff off, put my injection and everything on there, put it in the truck, and I made it 3 more weeks with that junkyard motor. And I made it to the end of the tour. I came home, and it took me, a month to get that truck all put back together and repainted and looking good. And when I pulled it out of the barn, my dad pulled in the driveway in his Cadillac, rolled the window down a little bit, and he said, "See, I told you you'd figure it out."
Wow.
And and that was a good lesson that I learned from a guy that knew absolutely nothing about monster trucks.
Right.
Um, and it's funny because I've had to use that with Mason, with Travis, and it's never as bad as it seems. There's always a way out. You got to just come back from it. Um, it's been tough. Um, I don't. I mean, I've lost some trucks in this business. I've dealt with some people that I maybe shouldn't have dealt with. But all in all, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Right. Right. I think those kind of lessons, like the motor, are hard lessons at first, but I mean, it makes you more of a man and more of a businessman than it does anything else. I mean, it hurts, it stings, especially when you have people that you thought were friends that do stuff to you, and I don't know, man. I think all that stuff just makes you who you are today.
Yeah, and I'm not. I think about it a lot. I don't know, because our business is basically competitive based.
Right.
We're basically in. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but we're basically pretending that we're competing.
Guaranteed.
And some people are competing, and some people have figured out that it's a show. Um, and I don't know if that's why a lot of people are in this business like that they think they're competing. I figured out a long time ago that the show is the important part of it, and I don't let it. I mean, I ran with some guys just in the last few weeks that they're talking about chasing the points and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's still people. It's like, when somebody believes in Santa Claus or something, you're like, do I tell them?
Yeah.
Do I not tell them? What's the harm? But um, I just was lucky enough to figure out that this is a business, and I try to operate it like a business. But back then, Jeff, I drove. At one point, I had two monster trucks on an open trailer. We had two spare transmissions
Right.
and a few parts, and we just made it work. You just put it back together with whatever you had and made it work. And I mean, I go to a show now. I have a semi with a 14-foot sleeper with a shower and a toilet and a kitchen and a queen size bed. And I just got a brand new trailer that's, all chrome diamond plate with, I mean, it's nice. It's really nice. Got spare motors, spare trannies. Didn't used to have all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it didn't, it didn't make you, and lucky for me, I grew up in this sport with Big Jesse and
Yeah.
Jack Caverna,
Yeah.
and those guys could make anything go one more time.
It didn't matter what it was. Wow. I remember. Was you part of the show that year that Big Jess? In fact, before we go into the story, Jennifer, you just ruined Santa Claus for Jennifer. She said, "Wait, Santa's not real." So
No, he's real. He's real.
he's real, Jenny. Just Dave was just making something up. It's not true. Santa Claus is
Bad example on my part.
bad example. That's right. But would you remember when Big Jess broke down? He was on his way in the Big Green, and he was broke down. The frame broke on the truck or the trailer or something like that, and he was stuck right there in the intersection in front of the building.
Yes, sir. I
That
do
was
remember that.
that was a trip. But you know what? That guy got out there and fixed that thing and was back, and he was ready at showtime, man. I mean, he could fix anything there was. I mean, that was a mountain of a man, number one, and he could make it run one more last time, and he lived for the win against Bigfoot. He hated Bigfoot, man. He did. He hated
He
Bigfoot.
did, and he Jesse's one of them. I love him to death, but he always wanted to win.
Yeah.
Like I tell the story. Now, ironically, now I own the company that builds the remote ignition interrupters for
Oh, the
pretty much.
RII.
Yeah, we pretty much make them for half the half the industry now. We're gonna take it over, but I can remember if he would lose, he was convinced that it was his radio was messing up or his MSD was messing up. I tell the
Yeah.
story all the time that
Barrel valve.
I used to have like 7 spare MSD 7AL boxes because he'd lose and he'd get so mad he'd take his out and throw it in the garbage, convinced that it was the box was messed up, and I go pick them back out of the garbage and keep them, and there was nothing wrong with them, but he,
You had to been
he
the
just,
you had to been the guy that shut him off on accident one time by hitting the RII on the side of your pants while the show was running, and you shut him off. Oh my God! I'd never seen a man so mad in my life. I thought I was going to die that day.
when he built the skinny bodied playing for keeps,
Yeah.
he was behind schedule and he missed like the first 2 weeks of shows, and the first show he made it to was Salisbury, Maryland, and truck's looking good, everything's good. He goes out for wheelies, first hit rolls it over, and he was upside down, and he had put I had side windows in mine. Most guys don't run side windows in their trucks, but I like it.
Uh huh.
And so he put them in his. Well, he had to have a door to get in and out. That was
Yeah,
the
he
only way
did.
to get out.
Yep.
And it rolled over on the door, so he couldn't get out. And I could hear him yelling from my truck, and I get out, and he's using some pretty choice words,
Uh huh.
but he was saying, I stuck my face in the hole. He goes, Dave, put this blank, blank, blank back on its wheels. And so I'm like, all right, I hooked the chain to it and hooked it to the front of my monster truck and just pulled him back.
Uh huh.
And when it came up, he had unbuckled his seatbelt. And so when flipped back on his wheel, it kind of flung him around, and all I could see was his butt crack on the on the window. Oh, that guy was something else, man.
Oh, he
You know,
was.
I built a brand new truck, and my second truck was called the Gladiator, and Jesse got me into a show at the Toronto Sky Dome, huge for a kid like me, and we went there and we had to race on the off-road course, and you just went by yourself, and after the first round I had fast time, and so Jesse's getting me all hyped up, you gotta go, you're gonna win this thing, and I went back out, but he told me, whatever you do, don't watch yourself on the jumbotron while you're driving. Well, dude, I come around the corner, and the last jump, you can see yourself on the jumbotron.
Right.
So I hit the jump. It had nothing to do with the jumbotron, but when I landed, it broke a front four-link bar and rolled the whole front axle out from underneath the truck. And I mean, I didn't roll it, but I was close. And I climbed out of the truck, and you got to act like you're happy that that happened. I wasn't.
Right.
But the guy tapped me on the shoulder, and they were replaying it on the jumbotron, so I got to see it. And they brought two loaders out and just picked my whole truck up and carried it out of the arena, brand new truck.
Wow.
And I was so upset. I went in my hauler, and I'm like, I'm done. And all of a sudden, I hear this knock on the side of the camper, and my wife looks out, and it's Jesse, and he goes, "Where is he?" And Tristan go, "He's in here, he's quitting." And Jesse goes, "Nobody quits till I tell them they quit." And so I go out there, and he goes, "What's your problem, you big crybaby?" And I go, "Look at it, my truck is ruined." He goes, picks up a block of wood and throws it at it. And he goes, "It's not even broke." And I go, "What?" He goes, "It's not even broke." He goes, "Get out here. We're going to drive this truck on the trailer in the next half hour." And I'll be darned if we didn't, he was throwing blocks in front of it because I had no brakes, no nothing. But he helped me put that thing back together enough to drive it on the trailer. And I got it home, and I fixed it, and it happened again like a year and a half later, kind of the same thing. I fixed it during the show
Uh-huh.
because that guy had showed me how to keep it cool and put that stuff back together, and he was always about, this show has got to go on. I mean, people aren't like that anymore, Jeff.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, I've been out of it
it,
so long. I don't know.
yeah, it's a whole different thing. Back then everybody owned their trucks.
Right.
Everybody owned their truck, and if you talk bad about somebody's truck, you might as well talk bad about their wife.
Right.
It was just part of them. Where now it's not so much. There's still some people out there doing it, but most of them are hired drivers. They're not affected if they do good, or they make it through the show. They make it through the show. Either way, they're getting paid.
Right.
Back then, you would loan parts and do whatever you could to help your buddy, just so he didn't get his pay docked.
Right.
I mean, and I mean, talking to Big Jesse, that guy would go from one show to the next and have literally no money. I can remember him telling me, if he took me to the grocery store, that if I bought it, he'd cook it and we'd eat it. And and I remember going and getting groceries. I thought it was going to last all week. We ate it all in one day.
Oh, I know, man. We did a show, me, him, and Don King in Gunnison, Colorado one year, and after we had a big barbecue planned, and we were there in the at the fairgrounds like we always do, stay in the night and stuff, and I was going fishing afterwards, and I had bought a gallon bottle of Jack Daniels, and I thought, well, I'll have plenty for fishing trip, and we'll have a couple drinks at the show, and then I'll have some when I get home, and I'll have a bunch left. And we sat down and we cooked up a steak, and with Don and Jesse, we all ate big and just had a good time. We were telling stories, and pretty soon Don says, "Don't you have some Jack in your trailer?" And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Let me go get it." And Jess grabbed the bottle, and he took the lid off the top and threw the lid in the fire. And he by the end of the night, it was all gone. A whole gallon of Jack Daniels was gone, man. I mean, it was just an. I couldn't believe it. We had we had a good party, but he wasn't gonna about put that lid back on that bottle. I guarantee you that right now.
It's funny. He wasn't a big drinker either,
No,
and
but
you
when
know,
he did,
I
he
think
drank.
yeah. I was just say we were in like Rupert, Idaho one year, and he went to bed, and a bunch of people came, and I don't drink hardly ever either, so I'm drinking, and I start yelling for Jesse to get up, and he's telling me to shut up, and he finally says, "Rife, I'll come out there, but me and you, we're drinking." And Jeff, I had to pay somebody to put my tires on the next day. It was the worst I've ever felt. Just, and he didn't. I don't even think he even ever got slightly intoxicated. If he did, he didn't act any different. But
He was just
the
huge,
guy,
man. He was such a
yeah.
big man. I mean, that's I don't know. It just took a lot to affect him or something. I mean, I remember when he was running the Monsters on Ice for Stanley, and
Hmm.
he was hauling them big belts around, and he picked them belts up and just throw them around like it was nothing. And one of the trucks ran into a dasher board, and the building was just pissed. We got a show, a hockey game coming up, and you guys, this is broke, and it's not going to get fixed. And the manager went away, and Jesse said, "Give me that damn cheater pipe out of my truck." And I mean, that big cheater pipe that he always had. And he rigged some kind of a deal up, and he went over to that dasher board and put his foot up there and pulled on it and straightened that dasher board out. And the guy from the building came back. They were going to take pictures, and he's like, "Where's that dasher board that's bent?" Jess says, "I don't know what you're talking about. There was never a dashboard bent." The guy goes, "I know there was. I seen it. I seen it." And he goes, "That's it, because there's the rubber mark on the thing." And Jess goes, "It's not bent. Look at it." And it wasn't. He fixed it perfect. And to straighten out a dashboard, that's huge. That's burly strength right there, man.
Oh yeah. He would always fix whatever,
Yeah.
And we were in Champaign, Illinois, and I had two trucks there. He had one. I don't remember who all was there, but I know Larry Swim was there, but I don't even think he was driving at the time. But all of a sudden, one of Jesse's buddies that would hang out with him comes over. He goes, "Jess is out. He's not going to run at the next show." And I'm like, what are you talking about?" And I look over there, and the truck's perfectly fine from what I can see. And so I go over there. I go, "What's the matter?" And Jesse's looking at it. He goes, "I'm done. I'm not gonna be able to run." I go, "You're kidding me, right?" Like I thought he was joking.
Uh huh.
And he showed me that one of the four link bars, the tab was ripping off the top of the housing. And I go, "That." I pointed. I go, "That." You're telling me that's why you're not running? He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "They got a 110 welder right here." And I picked up the sledgehammer and just started wailing on his truck. And I go, "This thing isn't even broke." And I thought, this is my chance to get him back for the Toronto
There
Skyline.
you go.
And so I started beating on that. And I said, "You're going to fix this thing, and we're going to go out, and we're going to have a good time." And he just looks at me. He goes, "Okay." And that wasn't easy for him. But we went out that night, and back then, dual freestyle was not a thing.
No.
And I had gotten in. I think I was in. I don't remember why, but I was in Trish's truck, the Chevy, the old Chevy that we
Yeah.
had,
The fire
and
one, the fire department one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and they wanted me to crush this tough truck. Well, it was a Blazer. Nobody told me that it had a square tube roll cage in it. So when I hit it, I got hung up on it, and my tires are like a foot off the ground, and I can't get any traction. I'm just balancing there. So I jump out on the hood like I meant to do it, and all of a sudden I hear Jesse fire up, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" So I jump back in. I'm trying to get my belts on, and here he comes. He pulled up to the front of me and put his front tires against my front tires, and then just nailed it. So it pushed me back far enough that I could get traction, right?
Right.
So I back off this thing. Well, then he takes off, so I take off, and we started chasing each other around that arena like we were trying to demolition derby or something. I think we forgot that there was even people in the building. We went and when the show got over, we had a blast. It was fun. And when the show got over, everybody's gone, and he comes over to me, he says, kid, he says, that was pretty fun. And he goes, I almost missed that. And he goes, so thanks for getting in my butt and telling me to straighten up. He goes, but don't ever do that again.
Don't ever just quit. Don't. God, he was such a good, and if he liked you, do anything in the world for you, man. He was just such
Anything
a,
for you.
just a fabulous, fabulous man. I mean, God, it was just great to be around him. Another one that was really good, Crazy Charlie. I
Oh,
remember you had the only wheels that Charlie could fit in, and he would hop in that wheel and take off, and you'd go around the arena, and he'd spin inside the wheel and then get out and run all over. But where was it when he got in the wheel and you just hammered it? And I mean, you were missing the crush cars with his head by like inches, man. I was like, he's gonna kill him, man. He's gonna kill him. But where was that at?
I'm not. I, was it in New Mexico? I remember at one show I accidentally hit the cars,
Right.
and he was in there.
Yeah.
I remember at a show I come around, and I didn't have rear steering at the time, and so I couldn't do that good of donuts, and it was on concrete, and all of a sudden it broke loose, and I was like, I can get a donut right now, and I started ripping a donut, not even thinking Charlie's in my wheel right now. And the funny part of that story is I knew Charlie. I saw Charlie before I even had a monster truck. I went to a mud bog in Phoenix, Arizona,
Uh-huh.
and he was just like, he was the show. And I met him a couple years later, and we were really good friends. And I had never seen the wheel ride ever. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And he said to me, hey, when you go out for freestyle, when you're almost done, pull up in front of the crowd, stop, and count to 10. And after that, take off and just go ripping around. So I did it. And I'm ripping. I went out in the field, and I went to where we were pitting, and I was third gear wide open, just getting it. I don't know what's going on. And I stop, and all of a sudden Crazy Charlie comes running out, like grabbing his pants like he just crapped his pants or something. And the crowd is going crazy. And I was like, what just happened? Well, every week we would do that. We would do that skit. It became our thing. And it was probably a year, maybe a year and a half of doing that literally every weekend. I never got to see it because I'm always in the seat, right?
Right.
I was at Jack Caberna's house, and there was a picture on the wall of Jack's gravedigger, and Charlie was sitting in the wheel. And I go, what's he doing in this picture right here? And they go, that's him riding in the wheel. And I was like, wait a minute, his head is hanging out? I thought that he was like curling up in a ball and getting inside the wheel.
Yeah, no.
His feet and his head were hanging out
Yes.
through all those things that I did. And
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, I've hit the cars with that guy in there like that. And it was funny because he would always tell me, he'd get out and he'd be like, hey, your axle bolts are loose or something. He could hear it, like all the noises that were going on.
The sounds of his life passing before him.
And what's funny is, like I say, how many years did we do that skit?
Oh God.
And we went to the MTRA meeting a few years ago, and Nathan Peel, he is actually the guy that builds the radios for me. We were at a show, and I was telling him, he goes, that'd be cool. Well, I gave him a GoPro and had him get in my wheel and gave him a ride so that we could get the fans' reaction off the GoPro while it's spinning, right?
Uh-huh.
We made the highlight video at the MTRA, and they were just freaking out. And I said, I can't tell you how many hundreds, maybe thousands of times I've done that skit, and nobody's gotten hurt. And I get it. There's a possibility, but
Yeah.
it's just we're gonna probably start doing that again, no matter how mad I got a kid that works for me now that I keep telling him the stories about Crazy Charlie because he's a lot like him.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the thing that he's got to do now before he can even be able to get in there, he's got to be able to go to the bar, and he's got to be able to get a shot glass and some Tabasco sauce and fill it up and snort the Tabasco sauce up his nose, or he can't do it. It's a rule. It's a written rule.
Absolutely,
You know. So
absolutely.
if he wants to do that, you have to get me some footage because I have to see it because I've never seen it done before, and I don't think I ever will again. I mean, that night he did that, I could not believe it. He's like, "You want to see me snort Tabasco?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, just." And I thought he was going to do a little bit out of the cap, and he fills up that damn shot glass and does a shot full up his nose. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you ever see him drink whiskey through his eyeball?
Yes, I did. I did. How do you
Oh,
think of these things, Dave? I mean,
I don't
how did he think of these things?
I don't know. And I remember we were at the bar one night and the lady come around selling roses, right? So he bought every girl at the table a rose. And my wife was like, "Oh," she's like smelling it. He goes, "Does it smell good?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she puts it over in front of his face and he bites the rose petals off of it and chews them and eats them and they're gone, right?
Right.
And probably 5, 10 minutes later, he's just sitting there and all of a sudden he goes, and like coughs, and the whole rose comes back out. Like how he did, I don't know. He
He
acted
was a
like it was no
showman.
big deal.
Yeah.
He just coughed it up, and you know he would be at the show, and tough trucks would be running, so he doesn't even know these guys, and he would act like he was reading his show schedule as
Yep.
they're coming around to the finish line jump,
Yep.
and right at the last second he'd look and just duck underneath them. And I remember he told me once he stood in front of me at a show and he started kicking the ground like he was a bull and told me to just come straight at him. And I did. And right just before I got to him, he would tip over backwards, fall on the ground. And as you were going over top, he would reach up and grab your back axle and go for a ride.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this guy is nuts, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's got the sheets? That's right, Jenny.
People wouldn't even know how to handle that kind of stuff now.
No, well, number one, that they would just thought that he was run over or going to get killed, and I
Right.
mean it'd be a big deal. But he brought me into that one. He goes, he told me when we were in Denver, and we always built that big jump in the middle in Denver. Remember that?
Yep.
And he goes, "I'm going to bring you into my world." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "We're going to stand there." And he had a broom and a shovel. And he says, "I'm going to be acting like I'm sweeping and you acting like you're throwing dirt up on the thing." And he said, "These monster trucks, or I mean, these tough trucks are going to come around." And he said, "Just before they get to the jump, they're going to jump over the top of us." I said, "What? What are you talking about?" I was just like, "Are you crazy or what?" He goes, "No, I do this all the time." And that became a big part of our skits together that I looked forward to. I was like, "Are we going to let him jump over us tonight, Charlie?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, for sure." And then one day I asked him. I said, "What happens if something goes wrong?" He goes, "Just listen to the motor." He said, "Just listen to the motor, and if if it starts sputtering, kiss your ass goodbye." I was like, "Oh my god, I don't." And then we did it at Denver one year. My wife was in the audience, and when I got home, she said, "I'll guarantee you that'll never happen again, or me and you are done." And she meant, and that was the first time that I'd ever seen my wife be that I was afraid of her, and I was like, "Okay, I understand. I do understand. I won't do it again." But we always put on more like you guys are doing now. We put on a show inside of a show, and it was just something that set us apart from other people because Stanley didn't care if you didn't run, he'd dock you, so you had to run no
Right.
matter what.
Right.
and
Yep.
and he didn't care. I mean, Stanley would go have beer with you afterwards and laugh and joke, but if you didn't run, man, he was cussing you out. He was screaming and yelling at you. And and when it come time to pay, he's like, "No, you didn't run, man. I'm docking you." So I mean, it was just a fun life, and then it just started to change. It really did, and just wasn't as fun as it used to be.
Do you remember when Stanley used to actually run the floor?
Oh yeah.
And he used to I would always let him stage me first. I got to give you my secret right now. I would let him stage me first, right? So he would stand there and tell you, "Okay, stop, you're good." Well, then he would turn around to stage the other truck. When he had his back to me, I'd roll forward, and so he'd stop the other guy, and then he'd look and he'd be like, "Crap." And he'd let the other guy move forward again. So every time he would turn his back, I'd roll forward because he would try to start you 40 feet from the cars,
Oh,
and
he would
I'd
too.
move, I'd get it up to 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he never figured it out. He just never figured out what I was doing.
He just thought that his judgment of the one eye was just bad, and he couldn't see right. Maybe he's the one that should have told you, "Hey, you just lost by that much, Dave." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, Jennifer, that was with Wesley Potch and Andy Farmer and them guys. I guaranteed it was. But yeah, dude, it's been so fun. But hey, I gotta ask you, if I send you my old school RII, can you update it?
Your your transmitter or your receiver?
The transmitter. It's the
I've
one that
tried
I
to.
wore when I had it on my belt when you guys were running.
You want it? It doesn't work anymore. Is that what you're telling me?
Dave, it's so old. I lent it to Tony I was gonna lend it to him for one show, and it ended up being like 2 years, and he would never tell me that he lost it. He lent it to some. I said, you can't lend it to anybody, and he lent it to somebody, and it got ran over. And then he found it, and I knew it was mine because I had my name on the front of it, and wrote it in silver marker, and I always signed my name a little bit different when I signed roller, and so I knew that it was the radio. But the last time I used it didn't work right, man. It just never worked right, and then plus, didn't the RIIs change a little bit, where the old ones wouldn't shut off the new boxes?
Oh yeah, and I was going to tell you, when it became mandatory to get an RII way back, 30 some years ago.
Right,
To buy an RII at that time was $1,500,
right.
and then more if you wanted a transmitter that just shut your truck off. And I remember that was the only time I ever borrowed money from my dad for a monster truck because they were like, "You're done. Everybody's done until you get a radio. You couldn't run," so I had to get one. But here we are, 30 some years later. The RIIs that we're building are 10 times better, 10 times more compact, uh, and the price is cheaper now than it was back then.
Really,
Yeah, so like if you want a transmitter, uh, I can sell you a brand new one for $250.
really.
And you know how you used to have to change the channel to either right, left, or center?
Yeah,
Now we actually have one that we've been selling that has two buttons, so you can be like right and left at the same time, or right and center. And we actually just built a prototype with three buttons, so you'll be able to do right, left, or center without ever changing the channel all at the same time. Um, we got this thing figured out, and we're trying to keep the price down. A lot of people keep telling me to raise the price, but I'm not selling them to make money. I'm selling them to keep this business that I love safe.
right,
I
right.
mean, I just really, it's not about the money. I mean, when we first started building them, we were just having a hard time with the other company that was making them,
Uh huh.
getting them back. And so we built our own, and then some people saw them and they were like, "Oh, these are really nice." And I mean, I actually went to, that's how I ended up at the MTRA, because it said it had to be approved to be used. And so I went and sat through 2 days of the meetings and said, at the end they said, "Any questions?" I said, "How do you get approved?" And nobody could even tell me. And so we just started, some people started using them, and I mean, I think we got we got at least 300 and some radios out there right now.
Do you really?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's we're we weren't planning on taking it over, and it wasn't really the first intention, but it's taken off, and so we keep trying to do things, uh, learn from our mistakes, learn from the industry mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
And we just keep trying to upgrade, but we're anyway. At the same time, we're trying to keep the price to where, like right now, it's starting August 1st, all monster ride trucks are going to have a single channel uh, kill radio that's specific to that truck.
I'm so glad to hear that, man. That's such a big deal, man. I mean, I always wondered why they didn't have to have one. I never could figure that out. You know, here we are with people in the back, not just a single driver, but here we are with people, with kids and stuff. And if this thing decides to have the throttle stick or something, which could happen, break a motor around or something, you know, I
Yep.
I mean, damn, that's why they never had one, and I'm glad to hear that. That makes me feel really good that that's part of the deal now, man. That's really
Yeah, and
good.
I mean, we just found out that it was going to be mandatory starting August 1st, and I think I sold 12 of them last week. You know, we redesigned them so that they're just a single channel, and
Right.
but my grandson Chase, when he went with me on the road all the time too, but I got him a go-kart when he was 3,
Uh huh.
and we started of course I taught him how to drive it in about 5 minutes, and he started driving around, and we said, let's build a jump. And so he went out, and we had him jumping within minutes, and he ripped the front wheel off, almost rolled it, but he saved it. And he's sitting there with the front wheel ripped off, and he looks at us, and the whole family just like, yeah, we're all cheering for him. And once he figured out that he wasn't going to get in trouble, he was on.
Right.
And but even then, I had a kill radio in that go-kart. You know what I'm saying? And just like, and we tried the cheaper ones. We tried one that you can buy offline, and he would perform at the shows for me, and I had him jumping Barbie cars with this go-kart, and his throttle was sticking, and the show must go on.
Right.
So I told him, don't worry, I got the kill radio. As soon as you touch the ground, I'll shut you off. Well, he jumped it. He did what he had to do. Things wide open. He hits the ground. I'm pushing the button. It's not shutting off. And he hit the barricades and bent the frame. And he was okay. I got over there and got him shut off. But right then I thought, no, there's got to be a better system.
Hmm.
And so what we got now is pretty slick. Um, Pretty proud of it, to be honest with you.
Well,
I
that's good.
I never thought that would be my connection to this business, but I'm glad that we're a part of it. And we also developed, we have remote control starting lights now,
Oh,
so that,
really?
yep, we've sold a bunch of them. We built some for ourselves, and then other people saw them, and um, we've sold a bunch of them, and it makes it. I can run the whole show. I can run the radios. I can communicate. I can run the lights. I can do everything from the tower now. So we don't have anybody on the floor at all,
Right.
and it's just, there's been a couple mishaps in the last couple years where people have gotten hit by accident that were on the floor and
Yep.
stuff, and
Yep.
we're just trying to make it. I didn't used to have radio communications with my drivers and stuff, and now I supply the radios for everybody that's at my shows, at least if they want to use it, so we can sit there and talk. And I got to tell you, you and I would have had a blast back in the day if we could have talked to each
Oh,
other while
guaranteed.
the shows were going on. It would have
Guaranteed.
been we'd have been having to sell the audio from our conversations.
For sure. No, the only reason why I'm asking about the RII because I might need to get back and do a few shows, man. I might need to get back into the business again. Just to, I mean, I'm only down to two sales now, and I don't want to live nip and tuck all the time, man, and maybe getting back out on the road, doing some shows and stuff will help out and stuff. So I figured I better get the RII going, and just in case that. So, but I'm not going to be tied to one person, you know.
Right.
I'm just gonna, if somebody needs an announcer or something, then I can jump in and do it, because I still remember how to do it, man. It's not, as long as you got a voice, you can be an announcer. You know, you got to be an
Well,
entertainer.
I know you don't think that I know you think you're just talking when you're out there, but I got to tell you right now, I use you as an example a lot to the people that I use, and y- you're more than just an announcer. You got it. You got the whole idea that this is a show, and you are the show. The kid that lives with us right now and works for us,
Uh huh.
we'll get to the shows and he'll be watching the show, and I'll be like, listen, we're not here to watch it. We're here to be it.
Yeah.
And that's a hard concept for a lot of people to get. They're always like, "Oh, you got the best seat in the house, and you get to see it all," and you do. But at the same time, you got to remember that you are the show. You're not there to watch the show.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, you made the show enjoyable for not only the people, but we always knew what was going on because we listened. We could hear you talking. You were explaining it to the crowd, but at the same time, you were literally telling us, "This is what's next. This is who's next." You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And you, I don't know if you know it, but you were like the floor director, announcer slash comedian, everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you, buddy. I
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you have a passion for something, and I was so scared when Stanley had me do my first show, you know, and stuff. But you know, you got to be out there. You got to be out there. Number one, to entertain. Number two, you got to be out there to watch. Hello there, Buzz Corona. You got to be out there to watch and make sure that there's nothing wrong with the trucks. And, you know, there's just so many different aspects of just being an announcer. And if you're that guy that just stands there and watches, then you need to go sell t shirts or something else, man, because you're not going to be a lick of good up there. Because you can be the life saving moment between an announcer, I mean, between a truck that's broke, that a guy really doesn't understand, you know, or when the show's dead, that you keep that momentum still going. I mean, you have to do that. It's just so important that you know, that's that's just what it was, and that's what I learned, and I learned that from Mitch, you know, and
Oh yeah.
I never
Yep.
forget it. I never forget what he told me, and it's just it's the truth, man. And I knew you guys were dependent on me out there to watch and make sure nothing was broke and stuff like that. And then when I got the RIs, you know, it was I felt better, because then if you didn't hear me, I could stop you, you know. So it was just a lot better deal, man. But I do want to get back into it a little bit. I still think I have some years left in me, and I don't mind. I mean, the airport time sucks, you know, but hey, if I can make an extra dollar or three going around doing some shows, then that's what I want to do.
I would. I'd love to have you come on tour with us, man. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever need me, you give me enough advance notice, dude. I'll be there, man. I would be there in a heartbeat for you, because I still got the mic, I got the computers. Shit, I even still got the old CDs, bro, from the days of
Oh
spinning the
yeah.
CDs, man. You know, I mean, that's what's crazy. But no, I just think that you know, I don't want to jump in and just be gone every weekend again, you know, because I got other stuff going on that's important to me too. But if I can do some shows, you know, throughout the year and fill in for people that are, you know, maybe an announcer needs to go do something or wants to take a break, and you know, hey, I'm down an announcer. I need somebody. I would love to be that guy for everybody. So hello, Christina, how are you? And Buzz Corona's in here, man. I had a good day yesterday hanging out with them at the big car show, man. So, but yeah, so just keep my name in mind, Big Dave. If you ever,
Oh, absolutely.
if
That
you,
I'm. you got me excited right now. I'm like, because I have people all the time call me and be like, hey, you got any announcers? Who are you using for announcing? And I mean, if I would have known, I'd have hooked you up before, man. I
Oh,
got you now.
I know that, and there was for a while, I was done. I was just done. But it was always a good source of income. It's always good to be in the business. I mean, get around friends and do it and do something that you love, man. I don't think Mrs. Roller's going to be real happy about it, but hey, at the end of the day, it makes more, it makes money, and that's what it's all about. I'm not the guy that goes to the bars anymore. I'm not that guy. I'll go eat and have a beer with you, but I'm back in bed and watching the Tonight Show or something, before anything else. So
Yeah, it's funny, the company that we did a tour for last year. Uh, in 5 months I stayed at a hotel twice, and they were just like, you don't go to the hotel? I'm like, I just like that I can wake up in the morning and go to work right
right,
outside the door. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I have a huge semi. Actually, I have two of them. So I mean, I can take a shower in there. I can cook in there. I can do whatever in there. I'm pretty happy, just getting up and going to work.
Mhm.
And
Well,
you know,
that's what
when you
we
can do that, yeah, when you can do that, you're lucky, man.
That's right, and we've been lucky most of our life because we're doing something that we love. So let's take a break for a second. Let's play this song, man, and we'll be right back here with a little bit more of my buddy DRB, and we'll be talking a little bit more about monster trucks and the times we had together. So we'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Yo, from Fowlerville, Michigan, this one's for a legend, the original Dave Riffe. Turn it up, turn it up. Turn it up. Back in 1964, a Michigan boy kicked open the door. Didn't grow up with a silver spoon, just big dreams underneath that moon. Swinging hammers, building homes, making a living with callous bones. Carpenter by trade as our life began, but monster trucks were the master plan. Never saw one running, can you believe that? Built this first monster truck, now imagine that. 79 Ford, short box style. People started cheering, going wild. Black Widow, everybody clap your hands. Black Widow, the legend never ends. Hard work, hard strong. Dave Riffe's been rolling all along. Started in 89, learning every day. Didn't know mechanics, found his own way. Knowledge was expensive, money was too. Work within the budget, that's what winners do. Paid as he built it, never moved too fast. Brick by brick, made it last. And Big just said, kid, you're gonna go far. Those words still echo just like a guitar. Black Widow, roll it down the track. Black Widow, never looking back. Raise 'em up, side to side. Everybody take a ride. From Bigfoot to Sweet Tooth, Bad Boy, Monster X2, Craniac, Gunslinger, Carolina Crusher. Every truck made the legend tougher, but everybody knows when the lights get low. Black Widow's the name that steals the show. 2009 pie champion, standing proud. Hey, ooh, Iron Man wrestling champion. Now that's saying it loud. Say what? Four monster trucks, four big semis, 8 trailers rolling down the highway. Many monsters every single day. No television for 6 whole years because building monster trucks is what he loves. Flemington Speedway, metal ramps flying, beat grave digger, the crowd was crying. Toronto Sky Dome, first big wreck, jump back up with no regret. This business can eat you alive, but Dave kept rolling, still surviving. Not because it was easy, because he loved every minute. Sometimes dreams come with a price. Missed birthdays, missed holidays, family gatherings, moments you can't get back. his family never stopped believing. Friends never stopped believing. And that's what carried him through. 2024, one final ride. Back where the journey started. Ingham County Fair, son Mason by your side. Grandson Chase, ready to ride. Dave wins, racing, then Chase said, come on, Grandpa, one more race. Half scale Black Widow. Green light, crowd screaming, photo finish. Grandson wins by that much. Best loss the day you've ever had. Black Widow, generation to generation. Paige, Travis, Mason, Courtney, Chase, Ruby, Crash. The Wright family still keeping the dream alive. Black Widow, still rolling strong. Widow, still loving every fan. Still loving every show. Still one of us. People ask Dave, after all these years, why do you still do it? Because I love monster trucks. I'm just a fan, just like you. The original Dave Riffe, Black Widow, forever. Black Widow forever.
There you go, man. The Dave Rife song, the original Black Widow, man. Guaranteed. I love that song, bud. It really come out good. I mean, it was just I don't do very much hip hop and stuff, and when you asked me to make it in that genre, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna jam it, man. We're gonna jam it.
That's crazy. 62-year-old guy like that kind of music.
But you had a passion. You got still do for monster trucks and stuff. But man, you had a passion for wrestling, and you had some kids, not only your kids but other kids that were studs, man. Talk a little bit about the wrestling part of your life.
Yeah, you know what? I hated wrestling when I was a kid. My brothers wrestled, and my dad used to take me to practice, and I was really little for my age, and so I would go to the middle school when I was in elementary school and practice and just get the crap kicked out of me every day. And my dad woke me up one Saturday morning and he said, "Get up, we're going to a wrestling tournament." And I said, "I'm not going." And he said, "You're either going to go there and get your ass kicked or I'm kicking your ass, one of the two." So I got up and I went to a wrestling tournament with a pair of tennis shoes, cut off jean shorts, and a long sleeve sweatshirt. I was expecting it to be like practice. And I actually went, and it was the regional championship for our area. And I made it to the finals. And, I go out there in my tennis shoes, and the kid that shows up had a singlet and all these safety pins on his sleeve and everything. And I had no idea what I was going to do. But my coach said, when the whistle blows, you shoot. And I did. I took the kid down. I ended up sticking him in the first period, won the regionals, ended up going on to be a state champion my first year.
Wow.
And I just fell in love with it. But long story short, my senior year of high school, I made it to the state championships, and we went off the mat. I landed on my head, whatever. They got knocked out, I guess. They made me go to the hospital. And back then, you cut weight not the right way.
Right, of
And
course.
I was cutting 20 some pounds, and they took me to the hospital, said I was suffering from malnutrition, and I didn't get to wrestle again. My coach canceled me out of the rest of the tournament, and so I just didn't finish the way that I wanted to. And so when my kids started wrestling, Travis was phenomenal from day one.
Yeah.
Paige, the story with that.
Yeah.
She was just at practice, and so we needed a spare partner, so we'd throw her on the mat, and she ended up being a 5-time national champion. She's actually a high school women's coach now. She
Wow.
went on to college, got a full ride scholarship, and she did really well. And then Mason came along, and he did really well. he set the school record for the high school he went at. He actually broke most of the wrestling records in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and and so back in, I think it was 2003, I started wrestling again, and I just wanted my kids to see that I had respect for what they were doing and that
Right.
I understood. And I went to they called it the Folk Style World Championships at the Pontiac Silverdome,
Mm-hmm.
and I to this day I'll never forget. I wrestled the first match, and I was losing, and I got taken down. Anyways, I had to keep wrestling the whole match, and I got done. I thought, well, I'm not really that tired, and I got to the 50-yard line. It was 12:01, and I fell down, and I thought, I'm having a heart attack right here. And I thought, this is where it ends, on the 50-yard
I'm
line in the
dying.
Pontiac Silverdome. And Travis kept going, Dad, get up. My match is coming up. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get up. It just hit me all at once. And long story short, I got third at that tournament, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to start training, and I'm going to lose some weight. And I cut the weight the right way. Later on that year, we went to Nashville, Tennessee to the Ironman World Championship.
Yeah.
Uh, and I ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, you
And
did. I remember
yeah,
the pennant man around. That was the baddest. I was so happy for you that year.
and my kids went on to do good things. I actually went on to be a high school wrestling coach. And the school that I coached, the last school that I coached at, we only had 9 kids on the team total. It was a really small school.
Uh huh.
Um, and it takes 13 just to make a team. So I just told all my kids, I said, I might be the most losingest high school wrestling coach ever. You guys are going to be the best. And we would go to tournaments, and we literally lost before we got out of the van because we were going to forfeit so many weights.
Right.
And every night when we get back in the van, I'd be like, what was the team score? And if you answered it, you had to go back to the school and run laps. But then I'd say, how did you do? How did you do? And all my kids were winning. And even if we all won, we still were going to lose as a team. So
Right.
I didn't care. We actually, without ever winning a duel, I think we might have won one. We might have wrestled somebody that had a worse, had less kids or whatever. But without ever winning a duel, we were actually ranked in the top 10 in the state based on just the kids that I did have. You know what I'm saying? We
Wow.
went from a school with no state placers to, like more than half the team qualified for states. And then I went on to start a private wrestling club, I guess you'd call it.
Uh huh.
We actually ran it right out of my barn,
Uh huh.
and we had some bad kids, man. They did really good. One of them actually just won the senior nationals this year. He's still wrestling today. I've had a couple of them go on to win national championships and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, every one of them is a better wrestler than I ever was.
Right. Well, Dave, I'll tell
But
you what. I mean, leading by example, plus the way that you explain things and stuff. You were a wrestler's dream for a coach, man. I mean, you were hard, but you were fair, and you know, you just you gave everybody the oomph to make it. So, whatever happened to the mats that you guys bought from us after my boys got done?
what did we do with them? I mean, we use them in that wrestling room, and then I end up buying, full size
Yeah,
Dahlinger mats and all
right.
that stuff. And when my son got done, I had a lot of equipment, and I actually gave it all away. I could have sold it, but I gave it to Central Baptist College in Conway, Arkansas.
Awesome.
One of my boys wrestled there. My daughter went to school there, and they were trying to build a wrestling program. And I thought, you know what, I'd rather I'd rather see it keep going to somebody else. And so rented a box truck, came up here, and I gave him all the wrestling equipment that I had.
That's awesome,
My
bud.
my grandson now, I don't. I was told that I wasn't going to be allowed to push him into wrestling, so I never said a word to him. But he's actually wrestling now,
Uh-huh.
so it's never over till it's over, you know. But
That's
it was a good. It was a good thing for my whole family.
it
Same
was,
like,
man.
you know, I can remember one year. I think it might have been the year that I won the Ironman, but um, between monster trucks and wrestling, I never slept in my own bed from the start of the year till November.
Wow.
Because if I wasn't at a monster truck show on the weekend, I was at a wrestling tournament.
Right.
And I actually remember we did a tour out in Montana and Wyoming and all that stuff, and we had one weekend off. We drove to Enid, Oklahoma for the kids' nationals, and so the whole time we were on the road, I had no place for Travis to train, so him and I would go find like UFC fighting gyms and pay for mat time, or if we couldn't find any place to train, we would just get in the swimming pool and work at the hotel and work our throws and do all that stuff. And he ended up finishing third in the nation that year without being on a wrestling mat for almost 2 months.
Wow.
Uh, you can do it. People can do it. You know that, like the kid that is just won the senior nationals. He was not one of the best wrestlers that I ever had,
Uh-huh.
but he had the desire.
Right.
And I still remember he wanted to go to this nationals and he wasn't going to go, and I just looked at him. I said, "You can't win if you don't go."
It's true.
And he went and he won, and that single tournament has changed his whole projection of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, little did any of us know that that's where he'd be now, but it's cool that you get to share that with people and get them. You know, my kids, none Paige still wrestles, but the rest of them, Mason, you know, I know he wants to get back in there, and he'd probably be a great coach,
Mm-hmm.
um, because he's a better wrestler, and he learned the right way. I mean, the big secret to wrestling is it's mental.
It is. Guaranteed. It sure the hell is. That's what I
And
used to tell the boys. Fucking
yeah,
mental, man.
I learned that from my high school wrestling coach was my also my biology teacher, and he never wrestled in his whole life. We didn't have a wrestling coach. We begged him to be our coach, and he did. And he didn't know how to. And he told me right from the get go, "You know how to wrestle more than I do, but I can help you work on your mind." And that was the whole difference, even in my high school career, was that he taught me how to get my mind right. I mean, actually, with him, I in 1981, I won the National Bicycle League National Championship for bicycle motocross, and it was all because of what that guy, how he taught me to get my mind in the right place. And when my daughter won her first national championship, my biology teacher was the first person that I went and talked to and told him thank you
Wow.
for, because of what he taught me. I was able to pass it on to my kids and other kids, and that stuff's pretty big. I mean, that stuff means a lot to me.
Well, sure it does, man. That's why you were so good at it. I guarantee you that right now. So, you know, I mean, we've just had a. It's been such a good time talking to you. What about Big Rick? Talk about Big Rick. Is he around? Have you talked to him? How's he doing?
Big Rick, Big Rick. I actually went to a show in Kentucky 2 years ago, and I found out that Big Rick lived there. I messaged him, and he showed up, and it was just like old times. You know, he doesn't say a whole lot,
Right.
but he's there when you need him. Rick Rick was my neighbor uh, when we were younger, and he just liked monster trucks. And you know as well as I do, Rick was uh, as DRB would say, he was just always there for me. That guy
Yeah.
was always there for me, and even when he got married and couldn't go, his stepson, I guess he is, Kevin Bartell. He turned me on to that kid, and that kid started going with me, and you know, I'm still good friends with all of them, and
Right.
that's really a big deal to me. Is uh, I like monster trucks, but I like having friends better.
Yeah.
And there's a couple guys that promote shows where I promote shows now, and I just tell them, listen, if I'm stepping on your toes, you just let me know and I'll walk away because we've been friends a long time, and I'd rather be your friend than get a show. It's
Right.
not that important to me.
Right.
And so I think that helped me with this whole industry is to not take it so serious and be more grateful. You know, I just, you'll appreciate this. I just got a phone call the other day from Rex Smith,
Wow.
Big Rex, you know, and I did a show in Longview, Texas last year, and who showed up? Big Rexy. You
Wow.
know, I mean, just good people, man. I just,
Yeah.
so many good people in this business. And it wasn't because we had monster trucks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the monster trucks are what put us together,
Yeah.
but that's not what kept us together.
It's the truth, man. We was a tight knit bunch. I'll guarantee you that right now.
Even like Jennifer, I don't know if she's still
No,
on or what it is.
she left for the night. She's got to work tomorrow, so
Yeah,
she
I can
said
say
good night, fellas.
you want a funny story. We were going to Queens Creek, Arizona, and so I had called Jenny and told her that we were coming. And on the trip there, somebody told us about a shortcut to cut down from Holbrook,
Uh huh.
Arizona.
Yeah.
And so we're taking it. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and Mason, he's in one semi, I'm in another, and it's pretty flat ground. And all of a sudden, I realized that we're going downhill, and we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I get on the radio and I tell him, you might want to slow down because this is a bigger hill than we thought.
Uh huh.
And we're going down this hill, and I'm pumping my brakes and I'm getting slowed down. And all of a sudden I look in the mirror, and Mason's pretty close behind me in the other semi, and I can see smoke. And I was like, oh crap, I think my brakes are on fire. So I get on the radio, I said, I think my brakes are on fire. And he all of a sudden he says, no, that's me. And he whips out from behind me, and I have never seen a trailer brake smoking that bad in my entire life.
Wow.
And as he's passing me, we're going down this hill. I'll never forget it. He looks over at me as he's passing me, and he says, Dad, I have a hard time even. He says, Dad, I got no brakes. Give me something. And dude, I was so scared.
All right.
And he blew by me like I wasn't moving. And I'm like, get your foot off the brake, get your foot off the brake. I'm trying to talk him through this, you know,
Uh huh.
and it wasn't slowing down. And he was losing it. And he's like, do something, Dad, help me. And finally I just said, I'm going to pass you. And when I get in front of you, just run into the back of the trailer. I'll get us stopped. You know, and as I'm passing them, I notice that there's a slight incline coming. So I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. If it doesn't stop, I'll get in front of you. And we finally got it stopped. And it looks like the trailer's on fire. It's smoking so bad. One of the kids jumps out. He gets the leaf blower that we use to blow the trailer out. He's blowing the smoke out. And I go up to the semi, and Mason's just sitting there, staring straight ahead, both hands on the wheel, not moving. And he said, I don't care who you call. I don't care what you have to do. I'm done. And I was like, the bad part is we're going to get down this hill. And I said, I don't care if we have to sit here till daylight. We're going to get down this hill. And he didn't say a word, and he waited. But long story, we got down the hill, and we're almost to the building, and we pull up at a traffic light. And who is sitting at the traffic light on her way to work?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Couldn't believe it. She
Yeah.
calls me. She goes, were you just at, whatever road? I go, yeah. She goes, that was me in the car. And she came to the show, and you know, she's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
she's awesome. But
She's
I thought that was ironic that we, all joking aside, he almost killed himself,
sure.
and the first person we see was Jennifer.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
cool.
When I retired, uh, we were in Lubbock, Texas, and come walking down the aisle was her and Matt, and they come all that way just to see me. That was the closest that I was going to be to them, and they drove all that way just to come and see me and be with me at one of my last shows, and it just meant so much, Like Scott Chisholm, he did the same thing. He shows up in La Crosse, Wisconsin, him and his wife, man, and just unannounced, and they just said, "Hey, we're going to come be with you for your last show," and it just meant so much, and it was like that way through the whole tour. I had people that used to come that were good friends, and they just showed up, and it's just nice to be able to have people, like that. It's just like I can still remember the time when you and Rick and everybody stayed here, man. At the
Yep.
house,
Oh yeah.
and we had such a good time, and like when you called me and said, "Hey, I need a place to leave the semi for a week or whatever it was, 2 weeks. Can I leave it at your place?" And dude, I got more land here than I got money. So sure, come on, bring it. And so,
Right.
you know, excuse me, but wow, it's it's friendship like that, man. That that really means more than anything else. Than you know that, and that's the same way that I'm getting here with these car clubs and stuff, man. I'm building up some friendships that's gonna last forever, man. I really am. These night owl guys, man, they treat me so well, and they're such good people, and that's one of the reasons why I can't really jump back into the monster truck business full time. But during the wintertime, when the cars are put up, there's a good way for me to get out and earn a little extra money. So that's what it's all about. But
And get your fix, man. I
and
mean,
get my fix, yeah.
I was done. I was done for a couple years, and then Travis was driving, and I went to a show, and I was just it sucked me right back in
It
again.
does. It does. It really does.
And it's funny because people will always say, "Oh, if you want to make $1 million in monster trucks, you got to start with 2 million because
It's
you're just
about
going to lose money."
it's,
And you know what? That is true to a point, but I got 4 kids. 3 of them went to college. My house is paid for. Everything I got is paid for, and they got paid for with those trucks.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
you just you gotta approach it the right way. I mean, I do okay right now, and I hope the same for Mason. It's it's funny because on the 4th of July he went to a party that was he goes, "I'm going to network with a bunch of other monster truck guys," and I didn't even get invited, and I was like, "I'm okay. I'm gonna go mow my grass." Um, you know, I'm glad that he's making his own name in this business, and I've told him 100 times. I said, "Listen, all you got to do is carry a 5 gallon bucket with you." And he looks at me funny, and I go, "I'm just gonna need a place to take a nap in the middle of the day." And I said,
Oh, the good
I'd
times.
be happy. You know what I'm saying? I'd be happy. I love the sound of them. I love, you know, I don't even need to drive them. I don't even try to drive them anymore. Everybody, all the kids that work for me, they're always like, "When can I drive?" I'm like, "Get in there." Matter of fact, my grandson Chase, his I'm 50 years older than him. He
Uh-huh.
is, but he always knows. And when the day he turned 10 years old, he says to me, "Poppy, I'm double digits now." And I go, "Really?" Like I acted like I was surprised. And I said, "Well, you know what happens when you get to be double digits around here?" And he goes, "What?" I go, "You start driving monster trucks. Let's go."
Let's get in it.
They were in the trailer, and I said, "Get in that truck and get it out of the trailer." And he just looked at me. I said, "If you can get it out of the trailer, you can do anything."
Guaranteed.
And so he jumped in it. I took a video of him driving it. He drove 2 of them out of the trailer, which is not. I mean, I've watched a grown man struggle today doing it. Um, And when his mom showed up, she's like, "Do you need him for anything?" I said, "Yeah, I need him to put the trucks back in." And she was like, "What?" And he jumped in him, drove him back up in the trailer. And to me, it's not a big deal. To him, it wasn't really a big deal. But I mean, there's people out there that would, give their left arm to just have that chance, and he gets in it like it's nothing.
Right. Right.
And I, I think, I mean, I'm sure that's it's like that for people with horses and whatever. I can remember Travis when he was little, and the fire trucks would show up. I was more worried they was going to run out in front of the fire truck than I ever was he was going to run out in front of a monster truck. He knew that when the monster truck started, you go the opposite way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a horse or fire trucks or something like that, he'd get all intrigued by that stuff. Uh, it's just it's a different life. Um, I have a guy staying with me right now. His name's Nathan Spolman, and I met him off the internet. He's a real big monster truck fan, and he stays here and he works here 7 days a week. And I think he's realizing that it's maybe not what he thought it was. But
Uh-huh.
I will tell you, I put him in the ride truck last night. I've never seen a kid so happy in my life.
Well,
He was just beside himself, and he did a great job.
well,
So
maybe you sparked an interest in him again, you know? Maybe he thought this is all I'm going to do, and now I'm driving and it's a different world, you know? You never
right, right.
you never know,
I
man.
we got back today, and he started unloading trucks. He's unloading tires. Stuff that I used to have to tell him to do. Now he's into it, and you know, and I get it. It's just driving. I don't think it's that big of a deal because I got to do it for so long.
Yeah.
But to other people, that's a big deal, man, and it's rewarding to be able to provide that to
Right.
people. It really is. When Chase, I think I told you this before, but Chase was the first kid to ever do a backflip in a mini monster, and
Yeah.
it wasn't an accident. It wasn't, oh, he rolled it over and it happened to come back on his wheels. We had a backflip ramp built for another guy to do a backflip, and he told me the night before. He said, "Pop," I said, "What are you going to do tomorrow? It's your last show for the summer." And he said, "I'm going to do a backflip." And I was like, "Oh, really?" Thinking, you know, he's not being serious. And the next night, Mason was strapping him in, and he said, "It's your last run for the summer. What do you got?" And Chase says, "I'm doing a backflip." And Mason said he just went. He goes, "I didn't want to look like nervous, so I just kept cranking his seatbelts." And sure enough, he went out and he went for it and he did it. And when he landed it, he threw it in reverse, did some donuts, got out, did the gritty, in front of probably 8,000 people. And dude, I was up in the tower running that show, and the tower was shaking. The crowd was shaking the grandstand so bad, and I was jumping up and down. I've seen a ton of things. I don't think I've ever seen anything that cool.
Right.
And I came down and I saw Trish. He was at the merch stand, and I just looked right at her and I said, "That was worth every penny I have ever spent on any of this stuff." It was just the coolest thing ever. And me and Mason are talking one day. We're like, "What do you think he was thinking while he was lined up with that backflip ramp? Like, was he going, 'Oh crap, this is a stupid idea,' or was he just like, 'I'm doing a backflip'?" We don't really know. He's never told us, but I've been doing this a long time. I don't know if I got enough guts to do it, to be honest
That's
with you.
crazy. It takes big ones, man. But you know what? He's seen it done so much. Maybe he just had a mental picture in his mind, and he had the confidence, instilled in you from when he since he was little, and he's like, I got this, man. This is cake. This ain't no. This is a walk in the park for me.
And it reminded me in that song that you played, the last show I retired. I officially retired at the last show, the same venue that I started at
Uh huh.
30 some years before that.
Yeah.
And I went out and it was raining. It was just a mud fest, but I won racing because I was smarter than those guys. They didn't know how to do it in the mud. But anyways, I got done, and my grandson said, "One more, Poppy, me
Yeah,
and you."
one more. Let's go do it.
And
One
so
more. Yeah, and
that we
it's so cool to be able to start and finish in the same place. That happened to me, and I loved it, man. It really did.
really that was amazing. I mean, it really was. I did that show the first time for free.
Uh
I just wanted to get my foot in the door, and the last time I did it, I got paid 30 grand. So
huh. Life is grand, ain't it?
yeah, yeah,
Life is
that was.
great.
I was like, this is cool. This is really cool.
Well, shit. Well, Dave, the last question of the evening is one that I ask all the drivers, and when it's the day that you say, okay, I'm just, I don't want to be the guy in the tower no more. I don't want to be the guy that owns the trucks. I just want to enjoy and sit back and reminisce and think of old times and stuff like that. What do you want to be remembered for as a monster truck man?
Wow, that's a good question. Um, to be honest with you, I really want to be. I want people to be like that guy was fun to work with. I don't want them to think that I took it too serious. I want them. I never had the best of everything.
Hmm.
Now I still don't. I mean, the truck that we have right now is 20 some years old. Um, I didn't make it because I bought my way through it. I worked my way through it, and some people probably think that I don't. Some people probably think I kissed ass a little bit. I don't think I did. I think I just put my whole heart into it, and I think people like you, uh, other promoters, I think they saw that, and I just did it because I just loved it. So I just want to be known that that guy just loved it. He just loved the sport. And I know that sounds stupid because they're trucks, And I did the first time I ever saw a monster truck, I thought it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, why would somebody do that to a perfectly good truck? And I actually built my first truck without ever even seeing a monster truck in person.
Wow.
I I looked into magazines and stuff, and I didn't know you could get paid for it. I didn't know it could turn into this. I never would have guessed it. So I'm super lucky. I mean, I never would have thought that I have a buddy named Roller that lives in Colorado, that I can call anytime.
Anytime. But
I
good
mean,
days,
I've
bad
had,
days.
yeah, I was gonna say I've had, stuff break down or people call me and be like, "Oh, I'm broke down," and I'll be like, "Where are you at?" And you literally have somebody everywhere
It's the truth.
that you've met, and I think that's for me, that's the big part, that I've met so many good people and made so many friends.
Yeah. I have to agree, my friend. I have to agree. And you know what? You got a friend in me for life, bro. We're best buddies for life. I promise you that right now.
And you know why? Because you're cool, man.
Because I remember that night, and I kept saying, "What? I can't understand it. You're cool, Jeff. You're cool, Roller." And I was like, I don't know what he's saying, man. Poor little guy was screaming his lungs out, trying to tell me that I was cool, and
That that's probably why he didn't make it to the podcast, because he flubbed it on his first one, and he's scared still, man.
well, you don't just tell him that he's still wanted and needed because I've made a song for him. So if he ditches me twice, then I'm gonna come and find him.
Well, you need to come find him. We'll buy you a ticket and have you come announce the show for us.
Dude, I'd come in a heartbeat. You just let me know when. Give me enough time to get my ducks in a row, and I'll come and do it. If I don't have a car show that I'm announcing or something like that, and I got a free day and you need me, you call me. I'll be there for you. I'll be more
I
than happy to be there for you.
I say I think knowing that you've known him since basically he was born, you have.
Yes.
I think you probably get a little something in your eye.
Oh,
when you watch what he's done with this whole thing. It's pretty cool.
well, I'm excited to see it, and I'll be excited to be a part of it. So when you make that call and I can be there, I'll be there, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. I love you very much, bro. I really
I love you
do.
too, man.
And hey, please give my love to the kids, the family, and we'll talk about other things as see how you're doing and stuff, and go from there. Okay.
All right, buddy.
Uh,
Thank you.
all right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye. Guys, that's friendship right there. That's real friendship. I've known that man for forever, and I know that if I was 200 miles away, if I was 1,000 miles away, and he could get there to help me, he'd be there for me. And it's the same way with me for him. So it's just great to be able to have friends like that. And my careers have definitely, my life path has given me that kind of friendship. I have those kind of friends now in the classic car world. I have those kind of friends, and I'll never be a rich man, but I'm a zillionaire in friends, and that's means more to me than anything there is. So we'll be right back here on Pedal the Metal Motors and Music after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, lug nuts, need to pick me up to start your day. There's a place in Parker that'll get you going. Rise and Grind Coffee has bold espresso, strong coffee, smooth lattes, plus chai teas and cold. Smoothies, regular or decaf, whatever you're in the mood for. Hungry, grab a hot breakfast burrito or a fresh muffin, quick, simple, and ready to roll. Got something coming up, any event or party you're planning, they've got a portable coffee cart that brings the coffee right to you. Fresh drinks served on site. Local spot, good coffee, good people. Rise and Grind Coffee, fueling your day, one cup at a time.
When your equipment goes down, your whole day comes to a stop. That's where Garner Repair comes in. Owned and operated by Austin Garner, Garner Repair brings professional, reliable mobile equipment repair right to you. No hauling, no waiting, no wasted time. From engine repair to hydraulic systems to electrical diagnostics and full preventative maintenance, Garner Repair keeps your equipment running strong. Whether you're on a job site, a ranch, or out in the field, Austin shows up ready to get the job done right the first time. Fast response, honest work, dependable service you can trust.
Call 303-588-7940. That's 303-588-7940.
Or email garnerrepair@gmail.com. Garner Repair, keeping your equipment moving so you can keep moving forward. Are you looking for something to jumpstart your podcast or your YouTube intro? Well, if you are, we've got some pretty great news. Now you can get that professional sound just like the big-time productions you hear on the radio. That's right, clean, crisp, powerful audio that grabs attention from the very first second. We help folks just like you bring their content to life. Whether you're launching a podcast, building a YouTube channel, or starting that next big thing on TikTok. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. If your audio doesn't sound right, people tune out. That's where we come in. From intros and voiceovers to full production sound, we'll take what you've got and elevate it to the next level. So if you're serious about sounding like a pro, it's time to step it up. Check out a few samples below and hear the difference for yourself. And when you're ready to get started, contact Roller at jeffrichards327@gmail.com or TexasRich at texasrich@c10americamagazine.com. Your audience is listening. Make sure you sound your best.
Attention hot rodders, custom builders, truck fans, and motorcycle riders! Get ready for the White Buffalo Car Show coming to downtown Snyder, Texas on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Cruise into the heart of Snyder and enjoy a full day packed with classic cars, custom trucks, motorcycles, live music, great food, vendors, shopping around the square, and fun for the whole family. With 25 classes, awards, and even a furthest traveled award, there's something for every kind of ride. Registration is just $20, and all proceeds stay local to support area charities and community programs. And don't miss your chance to meet Texas rich with C10 America during this huge downtown celebration. Plus, cruise into the Friday night meet and greet on October 2nd before the band starts rocking. So polish up that chrome, shine those wheels, and head to the White Buffalo Car Show in downtown Snyder, Texas! The White Buffalo Car Show, where horsepower, hometown pride, and Texas tradition come together.
All right, we're back, and we got time for one more song, and then it's been a long week for me, and I'm a little tired, so I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Let's see here. Hold on just a second here. Let's see here. I've got to get busy and try to find somebody for Wednesday. I don't have anybody on, so it's time to get busy. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate Dave Riffe for hanging with me tonight and talking with me. We'll get Mason on at another time, and we'll just talk more monster trucks. We'll talk more hot rods. I was talking to Buzz the other day when we were leaving the car show, and he said he'd be down to get back on the show and talk about the recap of the show and different things like that. So we'll have something on the show for you guys for sure, I promise. And don't forget to turn in to tomorrow night to Texas Rich's New Music Mondays. He'll be debuting all the 5 Gold Star songs that I play tonight, and I want to thank everybody. I just want to thank you for being out there and hanging with us and just making it a great show. So this last song is one that I wrote last night and today. Part of the reason why I'm still kind of sleepy. And this goes out to my buddy Bobby Clark, who is on hospice and I don't think he's going to make it in the next few days. So anyway, he was my hot rod dad. I mean, when I met him, we hit it off. I mean, and he treated me with the utmost respect. And our bond was hot rods, and we talked, and we were around a lot of hot rods in our lifetime as a friend. And now my friend is going to be with the other people that's passed, and and he won't be sick no more. So this here is called My Hot Rod Dad, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Love you all. Have a good night.
I remember the day I met you, seems just like yesterday. The moment that you shook my hand, a friendship found its way. At Car City Inn in Amarillo, in that great big old shop of yours, my daddy came to buy some cars to fill our little lot once more. You caught me staring at the hot rods shining underneath those lights. You smiled and asked, "You like these cars?" I said, "Yes sir, I sure do." That 1962 Corvette looks like one that my grandpa has. His is a 1960, and I sure do love that car. I talked your ear off all afternoon about Grandpa's old Corvette. You never once looked at your watch, and that's something I'll never forget. You were more than just a car man, more than chrome and horsepower dreams. You took the time to know a young boy, and you meant more to me than you could see. Through every mile and every memory, through every laugh we've had, you became so much more than a friend. You became my hot rod dad. I talked about you all that week when I got home. To anyone who'd listen about the man in Amarillo's who's got the coolest cars I've ever seen. But more than all those shiny rides, what has stayed with me the longest was how you took the time to listen to everything I had to say. Then Daddy came to buy more cars, and you grinned when we walked in. You said, "Come on, I've got something I think you're gonna like, my friend." At your house sat a white Camaro, a 67 or 68. You said, "Hop in, let's take a ride," and I could hardly even wait. The rumble told the whole story before we ever left that drive. That wasn't just a ride in a hot rod, it was a memory for life. The years rolled by, our friendship grew, built one conversation at a time. No matter where this old life led us, cars would always cross our minds. Then one day back from Lubbock, with a hot rod truck we'd found, we called and met you over in that little Vega town. You stepped out holding Bobby Shane, that little blonde-haired boy of yours. You said, "I'd like you both to meet," and I could see the pride and joy on your face. I looked into that little face, and somehow I already knew the love for old hot rods and classics was already living there in you. You were more than just a car man, more than chrome and horsepower dreams. You took the time to know a young boy, and you meant more to me than you could see. Through every mile and every memory, through every laugh we've always had, you became so much more than a friend. You became my hot rod dad. You gave me room to clean those cars in that great big old shop of yours. You gave me time on the auction block and a chance to practice my craft. You gave me confidence to grow and believed in what I could do. Looking back across the years, I owe so much of that to you. We've bought old Chevys, Fords and Mopars, shared whiskey nights and morning meals, burritos, stories, lots of laughter, talking horsepower made of steel. Bobby Shane's 21st birthday, and countless memories through the years. The kind of friendship few are blessed with, growing stronger year by year. Some fathers give you life itself, some teach you wrong from right, some walk beside you through the years and help your dreams take flight. You didn't have to take the time, but somehow you always did. You saw something in a young boy and never stopped believing in him. You were more than
than just a car man, more than chrome and horsepower dreams. You taught me more than fixing cars. You showed me what friendship means. Every mile from Amarillo, every memory makes me glad. So all I have to say is I love you. Thank you for taking the time and becoming my hot rod dad. Bobby, from that little boy who walked into Car City all those years ago with his dad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for every conversation, every ride, every opportunity, every laugh, and every lesson. Thank you for believing in me, for treating me like family, and for taking the time when you never had to. All I have to say is I love you, and I'll always be grateful that somewhere along the way you became my hot rod dad. Bobby, from that little boy who walked into Car City all those years ago with his dad. Thank you, thank you, thank you for every conversation, every ride, every opportunity, every laugh and every lesson. Thank you for believing in me, for treating me like family, and for taking the time when we never had to. All I have to say is I love you. You caught me staring.
All right, C10 America family, it's that time once again. It's time for Tailgate Trivia!
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Pedal to the Metal. I want to send out a huge thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and supporting the show. I also want to thank all of our amazing sponsors. You're the ones that help keep the wheels turning, and we truly appreciate you. Be sure to join us every Wednesday and Sunday. We kick things off with music at 6 p.m. each night, and the full show starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until next time, keep the pedal down, heads high, and we'll see you at the next show.